Di laptop apa HP?
HP.
No. Ini Google Meet-nya di mana lo?
Di laptop.
Oh. Kalau rencana gue, tapi lu bisa nggak itu di apa di laptop nontonnya?
Oh, lu mau nayangin ininya ya?
Nggak, suaranya aja. Kan itu biar nggak di band.
Ini emang nggak kedengeran?
Nggak suara dari itunya.
Dari iPhone ini nggak kedengeran.
Kalau di HP enggak deh, kurang jelas.
Tunggu.
Kalau nggak bisa.
Sekarang tunggu, gua ada ide.
Gimana?
Bentar. Sound system gua kan cakep.
Ah,
Kita colokin aja ke HP. Bentar. Ini dulu. Gua nggak tahu udah mulai streaming belum ke YouTube. Ini di punya lu kedengeran kok, Tok?
punya gua kedengeran.
Iya.
Oke.
Yaudah dari lu aja.
Ntar link YouTube lu mana?
Cek aja Sport TV. Jadi buat semua penonton YouTube gua yang baru join, ini kita mau streaming sampai selesai, mudah-mudahan internetnya kuat. Di mute aja yang YouTube gua.
And it's a season finale on a modified circuit. This is the 10th turn 5. The chicane for it is long gone. We've got banking now at turn 9, where once upon a time we had opportunities to overtake into a chicane. And we've got a much faster end to this circuit.
Sayangnya Mazepin nggak ada ya.
Miles an hour, but you're about 120 miles an hour through turns 12, 13, and 14, where we've already seen.
Hah?
Sayangnya Mazepin nggak ada.
Iya. Padahal bisa lumayan itu.
Jan, kalau gue mati lampunya mau nggak?
It is the C5, the C4, and the C3. The hard tyre thought to be a very good race tyre. Neither Red Bull pair of Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez has proven so far this weekend. Lewis starts on the medium tyre, Max starts on the softs. Here's the grid then for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Max Verstappen on pole for a second year in a row here. Lewis Hamilton alongside him.
Strateginya siapa yang lebih bagus? Soft apa medium?
Lando Norris, his best qualifying since
Kalau gue kayaknya medium.
Medium ya, jangka panjang.
Ini ya, kayaknya Max Verstappen bakal ngambil start duluan.
Ngilu-ngilu sedap soalnya soft.
Iya.
Gue nggak expect ada McLaren kemarin, sumpah.
Iya. Gue juga nggak expect Lando bakal P3.
Iya, ngeri banget. Ayo prediksi gila apa yang terjadi.
Sebastian Vettel starts 15th ahead of Nicholas Latifi and 16th Latifi, out qualifying his Williams teammate George Russell on his final appearance for Williams before he goes to Mercedes. Kimi Raikkonen his final start.
Jangan lupa buat semua driver of the day hari ini Raikkonen.
Nggak, gue ngevote ya udah.
Biar
Ya
kita dengar,
Raikkonen udah last race sih.
biar kita dengar wawancara.
I don't know how nervous you are, but I'm as excited as I am tense.
Let's go.
I'm very excited. Nervous I'm not.
Jam 8
Something is going to happen in the
Jam
next
8.
58 laps. We're just not quite sure what. Will it be?
Lu udah
Lewis
makan
Hamilton's
Belum, gampang lah nanti.
Sergio Perez.
Gue udah terlanjur bikin mie.
Oh, nggak apa-apa.
Mau makan nggak tenang, cuk.
Iya juga sih.
Ngilu-ngilu sedap. Di WA dari tadi udah rame.
Iya. Iya sih, udah itu.
Bacotan.
It certainly is.
Ayo, formation lap.
369.5 points, and you go back 151 points to the next
Jadi
contender. Valtteri Bottas.
basic idea kita bikin ginian buat ngimbangin Crofty karena dia condong ke Lewis.
Let's go from the back
What
up
a
with soft
bastard.
tyres for Mick Schumacher, medium for Raikkonen, all the way to Stroll. Gasly and Alonso starting on the hard. It's soft. Then for Ricardo and Ocon, medium Tsunoda. Bottas on the medium, Leclerc on the soft. Sainz, Perez, Norris
Let's
on the
go,
soft.
Supermax.
Crucially, Hamilton on the medium.
Oh, udah warm up. Ayo.
Warm up lap.
Whatever happens,
Gue nggak peduli yang nonton berapa orang. Yang
Iya,
penting
sama.
kita streaming aja. Mudah-mudahan 2022 setiap race bisa kita streamingin.
They weren't in play.
Ini Anyway, kalau buat yang nonton ada link donasi, monggo di
Saw
tab aja.
Max snatch that front left tyre, go for a second lap, and basically he couldn't use that set anymore. Forced to qualify into the top 10 shootout on the soft compound tyres, and they
Nggak, kayak gini tahu-tahu
on his car now.
Hah, pental. Ya, detail ke pental saja, Bung. Pental.
He may even let it pull clear a little bit in the beginning, but Lewis's tyres are much more for the long run.
Bentar. Kita tunggu di top masuk. Lu ke pental ya?
iya kepental gue.
On its head.
Enggak. Anyway, fastest pit stop kayaknya nggak bakal pecah. 188 udah paling cepet.
Ya udah paling cepet itu.
They didn't want to get too early to the grid. They hung Max out front a little bit, didn't they, on one of the 3 restarts.
Hamilton nahan lagi anjir kayak di Qatar.
Lewis will be keen to get as much temperature
Lihat
into
jaraknya jauh
more
banget itu.
durable, but harder compound
Sentarleng,
tires
woi.
as he can. So I don't think
Mungkin.
we'll see too much of that going on. And that just
Nah, tapi masa iya sih mungkin aja dia nahan itu Lando.
Enggak. Mau rewind Qatar biar bannya Max sudah terlanjur terlalu dingin.
Iya.
Apakah kita akan menyaksikan pembantaian malam ini?
Gue berharap sih bakal lebih intens.
Iya. Billboardnya gambaran Verstappen sama Hamilton. Terus yang lain
Iya.
buat apa? Join.
Yang lain San Mori.
Afternoon ride. Toto Wolff. Udah konstruktor udah gak ketolong, sorry.
Iya.
Max Verstappen needs to beat Lewis Hamilton. Lewis
Gara-gara
Hamilton
Qatar.
needs to beat Max Verstappen.
Nah ini intinya siapa finish depan siapa sih?
Iya, makanya yang bikin deg-degan. Fastest lap udah gak berguna.
Jos Verstappen, 15 drivers from Holland have entered the
Bisa aja kalau mereka 9-10.
Oh iya, tapi
kan nggak mungkin.
Kita berharap Mazepin lakukan sesuatu, Mazepinnya COVID.
Iya.
Oke.
Nah, itu Verstappen
Kenapa?
kelebihan nggak sih?
Aduh, kayaknya.
Oh enggak.
Tunggu, gue belum dapat footage yang jelas di sini.
Oh normal.
Orang-orang di video.com pada kena gocek ya.
Hah?
Orang-orang dari tadi kan pada nungguin di video.com, tapi kena gocek. Tahu-tahu begitu udah mulai ditulisnya nggak dapat hak siar. Kasian. Oke, Mick Schumacher udah siap di barisan terakhir, safety car udah datang untuk terakhir kalinya di musim ini, Tok.
Iya.
Oke. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 lights out and away we go.
Away we go.
Gitu. Oh,
Ya,
no. Ya, Hamilton di depan ya.
iya.
Ya, oke.
Langsung gitu di. Ya,
Oh,
Norris, White. Dah.
Oke.
Ya, ini Albert.
Harpin. Aduh, ayo bisa. Perez tau dong. Ayo, jantung kita mulai.
DRS baru bisa di lap keberapa?
3. Ayo. Inside lagi. Yes.
Iya. Senang banget.
Iya. Nggak ada. Jadi bilang he push me off. No.
Ini yang kita tunggu.
Ini yang kita nantikan.
Tadi siapa yang? Oh, Bottas. Bottas apa siapa sih?
Nggak tahu. Kayaknya ada. Kenapa tadi?
Verstappen had to do that run.
Kena disuruh kasih.
Masih itu.
Sainz and fourth, Norris fifth, Leclerc in sixth, out in front. Hamilton still has the lead from Max Verstappen, from Sergio Perez, and at the end of lap 1, Hamilton's advantage over Verstappen is 1.1 seconds.
Apa nih orang ngomong? 1,1 gapnya masih bisa yuk.
Okay, you haven't gained a lasting advantage. So the stewards will be looking at that. You re-establish the gap.
Jangan nyampe nih kayak Qatar kemarin.
Konyol.
Iya.
Kalau kayak gitu bisa bacot-bacotan anjing di medsos.
Iya. Perang sih fansnya.
Oh, lu belum pernah kena hujat hooligan sih ya.
Oh iya, belum.
Gue pernah kena sekali gara-gara nyorakin Hamilton.
Ya lu rasis sih.
Tolong ini live, jangan bawa-bawa gituan, nggak bisa disensor. Aduh, gapnya 1,3. At least Red Bull 23 lah.
Iya.
Sunoda nahan Botas, bagus.
Iya.
Ini dream team. Ini replaynya. Oh, touch.
Hamilton has to take to the escape road. Did Verstappen lunge correctly and fairly, or the stewards
akan Trotsky bacot.
Iya.
An opportunist move that was never
Fuck you,
ever
Trotsky.
going to be on? Will they decide that way?
It was late, but the door was open and Max stayed on the racetrack.
No investigation.
Yes, aman.
Stay the stewards. Derek Warwick, former Grand Prix racer, Gary Connolly, very experienced.
Tapi gapnya dari tadi
masih di bawah 10 aman. Ini kalau misalnya stewardnya konyol dikena sih sama medsos.
And so we're back as we were.
Gap 2 detik, nggak nyampe 2 detik sih.
Nyaris.
I think will be on the blower to race control.
Nggak tahu dah ini kena copyright apa enggak, mudah-mudahan enggak. Tolong F1 jangan baperan. Ini kita cuma ngobrol
Ya itu
doang.
YouTube-nya.
Iya, YouTube. Wow.
I've seen it again. Max is ahead at the apex. Jonathan is on the track. Jonathan, he's forced him out there. That's why we asked him to give back. And Lewis has left the track. And you told him to give back all the advantage.
All the advantage was already given back prior to the
FIA
first
lagi
stopping.
ngomong ya.
I'm sure we agree, but understood.
No problem.
Ah,
So with the eyes of the
ribut
stewards,
udah
then,
lima habis
Lewis Hamilton
balapan.
slowed down enough to give back some of the extra meters that he gained when he went off the track, and that was fair. As race director Michael Massey,
BTW,
that was fair.
Kenapa?
FIA kayak terlalu gampang di setir nggak sih? Diarahin gitu.
Iya.
All these things as I see them,
Tergantung uang sih itu mas.
no matter whatever you say, one
Nggak,
of the
sama
things
tim iya sih.
Iya.
Apalagi sama tim-tim
I don't
gede.
see that the gap is the same.
Verstappen.
Just get it down. Investigation
Gini,
on
ada gue mikir teori
the
kan
advantage.
semenjak dibeli sama Liberty Media, mereka kayak berusaha ngakhirin eranya Mercedes nggak sih?
Iya.
Nah, gue berharap itu penyelamat karena jujur orang bosen ngeliat juara itu terus kan.
I don't think the gap was ever given back, but that's what the stewards have decided.
Well, gue rasa Toto Wolff salah ngambil driver Williams. Setuju?
Max Verstappen in terms of.
Menurut gue sih tepat malah.
Coba Anda lihat di grid, lihat yang paling belakang siapa.
Well, we wondered, didn't we? Was it going to be turn
Ya,
one
kan
where
belum
Max
tahu.
Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton potentially
Out-qualify
came
by
together?
Good
We
TV.
lasted 6 corners until they came together. Our first controversial moment of this race, and possibly not the last either, as Hamilton takes to the runoff area, stays ahead of Verstappen. The stewards say no investigation, no penalty to be applied. Now we can get back on with the
Gue
racing.
pakai jaket, pakai hoodie oranye Januar loh, untuk menunjukkan semangat.
Yang VPN.
Iya. By the way, VPN kalau mau endorse, saya udah siap jadi brand ambassador.
Bogged down on him,
Aduh.
and there is then
Ini
Perez
replaynya, coba lihat.
taking third place.
Lando
As
ke kanan
Lando
banget.
Norris goes wide,
Iya.
comes back in, doesn't
Kasihan.
gain any advantage, and you can see Bottas falling behind the Ferrari as well.
Got squeezed a bit, didn't they?
Really low revs there for Lewis in the Mercedes, and
Reaction time-nya selisihnya
then
dikit
on the
banget anjir.
reaction time,
Iya.
just about
Nah, tapi itu ngaruh banget ya.
Iya,
that lovely space in
cuma
front of him.
seperberapa.
So
Gue main nyoba F1 reaction time aja susah
no, I'm
banget
going
tuh.
to call it the same way. I think Max has got in there. He's got into the apex. He stayed within the white lines of the racetrack. And look at the gap Lewis has pulled out front there. So, I'll stand by that, but that's not what the stewards think.
This is the view from Lewis Hamilton's cockpit as he sees Max Verstappen coming at him at a rate of knots. But it is very much like Brazil. There was no penalty given
Nah,
in
exit
Brazil.
exit roadnya kok kayak nguntungin banget ya.
Iya. Ingat, track ini udah dibenerin sesuai dengan spesifikasi Mercedes. No, gapnya udah mau 2 detik.
Honours even at the end of this skirmish.
Kalau kemarin di Qatar kita bisa berharap Mazepin bikin masalah biar kena red flag atau PSG kan, sekarang susah. Oke.
Nah, berharap nggak tinggal itu sih. Iya sih harapannya tinggal kalau nggak safety car keluar
Red flag
atau enggak itu.
red flag. Kemarin kayaknya ada kecelakaan Schumacher ya, spin, nabrak barrier.
Iya, yang di Jeddah.
Enggak yang di sini juga ada kok tracknya jadi kena red flag. Ini gue baca highlightnya.
I understand he's been on the radio speaking directly to the race director Michael Massey to put his point of view. Maybe we'll hear from him in a
Oke,
second.
Horner update, Horner protes ya.
Masih sama so far.
On board Leclerc, driver kamera. Wih, ngayun banget.
Iya.
There would have been clear cut in the past decisions. On board, Charles Leclerc is currently running sixth, but while we watch from the cockpit of the Ferrari, let's head down to the Red Bull pit wall. Christian Horner is with us. Christian, please, your reaction to the no
Kita
action
dengerin komennya Horner.
We're a little bit shocked at that because apparently Lewis gave his advantage back, which we failed to see yet. So, as you can imagine, we're not that pleased.
Is this what goes around comes around, Christian, with turn 4 Brazil and into some first corners in earlier races?
No, it's a total lack of consistency. So, we're disappointed with it, but focus on the race now, and we've got to do it the hard way.
Christian, there will be a lot of people watching Formula One for the first time ever. When they're presented with a no action for one incident, no action for another, they'll find it hard to believe that's a total lack of
Ya,
consistency.
ini
Well,
Gue setuju sama
ini
lu.
sesama
you had to stay within
Kenapa?
the white lines. Max did that.
sesama Aston Martin baku hantam.
Enggak, Vettel bakal makan karena yang gaji dia Stroll.
Iya, bapaknya.
Christian, thanks
Tapi
ever so
gue
much.
setuju sama lu, escape route-nya menguntungkan.
Your instant reaction
Kalau
there.
misalnya kayak di Monza kan escape route-nya agak zigzag sedikit.
Iya.
Your race all by themselves, 14th for Vettel, 15th for Stroll.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
We still don't understand
Yeay,
it.
Indomie gue
It was
datang.
quite aggressive pass by Max. Max
Kampret
stayed
sambil
fully on
makan.
the track and he was ahead of the apex. He did everything right. He stayed on the track. At
Yeah.
some point, the second
Makan-makan.
car has to back out.
Ini lama-lama seru seru itu.
Dengerin stewardnya ya.
Iya.
And Max forced that position there. So
Gak ada yang nonton dong.
Iya, semua fokusnya jadi ke FIA. Udah kena hujat habis balapan. Bayangin kejadian ini nimpa Rio Haryanto.
Iya, dihujat sih.
Hilang akunnya Michael Massey.
What's the champion's view?
Oh my goodness, so difficult. I think it's okay when they've done. Max was a little bit too lungy and too aggressive, forcing Lewis out too strongly.
Enggak
Even
dong.
though he had the right to the corner there.
Max gak
Iya.
maksa Lewis keluar. Udah tahu ada Max ya, Lewis ngerem. Itu di depan udah habis
Everything
jalannya.
that he gained. So there's like, well, it's tough, but I think it's okay like this.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what Nico said. I think when you look at it back, you have to say that Lewis had to basically move out of the way because otherwise he was going to collide with Max, who made a very
Oke, gapnya 2,1.
very late run, which left no room for Lewis to make any accommodation. He had to leave the track.
Ini kita
But I have
deg-degan
to say,
pas pit
I am
stop.
surprised that you
Iya.
say
Nggak
the place-
bakal pakai strategi apa nih?
Strategi Bottas nahan lagi kayak Jeddah.
Nggak, tapi kan Bottas jauh di belakang.
Oh, ingat di paling belakang ada Russell sama Latifi.
Oh iya.
I guess, but he stayed on the track. I'm struggling to understand the regulations right now because obviously in Brazil there was no penalty, but they both drove off the circuit, whereas Max stayed on the track this time.
Gentlemen, thanks ever so much. I think your
Buat
staff
sekali lagi buat yang lagi nonton di YouTube, gue ingetin tolong vote Kimi Raikkonen buat driver of the day. View-nya udah 41.
Iya sih.
Close aja YouTube-nya biar ringan lu.
Now, what's interesting
Hah?
there is Lewis Hamilton
Tap YouTube lu di cross aja, nggak apa-apa.
Oke.
well on despite
Biar nggak double-double.
being on the stop and dive, we thought they might be a little
Buat
bit fast.
Gua nge-lag.
Half a dozen, 10
Makanya gue bilang, gue ngeri
Gua
kalau
nge-lag. Nggak. Gua nanya.
nggak, biar lebih ringan aja, biar nggak
Oh,
kelempar.
oke.
is hanging on to them as well. 5 seconds covers the top 3. And now the
Sip
strategy
2,4. Ah,
both teams.
Jauh udah.
nggak tenang gue makannya.
It's about 23 seconds to make a pit stop. But right now, anybody who stopped, for example, they put them down in 11th place. So
Bansof tahan berapa lap sih?
Hah?
Bansof 15 bukan 15 atau 16 ya di sini?
Kemungkinan ya.
Won't go as long into the race. He's going to put himself into traffic if he pits in the next 4 or 5 laps. They don't want to be doing that because it'll hold up his pace.
Tadi pertama.
Ya.
No, bannya udah baru lap 9 udah habis bannya.
Starting to struggle, he'll lose grip coming out of those slower corners.
Berarti benar prediksi anak-anak Bansof agak-agak ngeri.
Iya sih.
Mari kita tengok grup WhatsApp pasti udah baku hantam. Iya, kita
until a good way out of the corner until the downforce builds up. But they have no option but to stick with it for now. They've got to clear the pack before they can consider a pit stop. Otherwise, they're just being so much traffic. But they're lapping around 1.5 seconds a lap faster than the tail end of the top 10, and that's the window they'll be looking for. 23, 24 seconds to get Verstappen in and try and come up with a new solution.
Yeah, the gap that is appearing that I'm sure they'd like to fit into is just
kita
behind
ngebahas Red Bull lawan Mercy. Coba kita bergeser ke McLaren lawan Ferrari.
Coba kita lihat.
For Max Verstappen. Pirelli say they've got a performance life of about 15 laps from the start of this race.
15 lap.
15 lap, wah, ngeri.
I've seen Angria looking tyres, and I've seen China looking tyres too.
Yeah, it's this surface temperature, isn't it? So, we have to accept Max made that small error in qualifying. He made a big error last weekend, sticking that pole there. Such crazy races Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure in the end it made any difference. Not pole at the first of the 3 starts. But and that's what's forced him into putting these tyres on it and put the Red Bull on the back foot. Now they've got
Sainz sama Norris masih ketat ya.
Ya. Jadi hitungannya yang menang yang Fitri Ferrari. Pencapaian.
Iya. Konstruktor.
Hamilton. But of course if Hamilton comes out with fresh tyres, Perez will be.
Ya udah, ayo tebak-tebakan strategi. Abis ini Hamilton pasang ban apa? Hard atau soft?
Gua kalau ngeliat ini kemungkinan dia bakal pasang hard.
In between Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, second and fourth in this race. Running behind Sainz, his former McLaren teammate Lando Norris.
Berarti kalau Verstappen biar logis karena dia pit stop biar cepat lewat dari traffic harusnya pasang medium kan. Tapi buat tahan lama hard ya.
Iya.
Aduh, gembel banget. Fast lap lagi Luis. Fuck.
From the top of the viewing tower, Esteban Ocon runs in ninth, Daniel Ricciardo 10th, and Hamilton starting to stretch the pace out in front.
Of course, there's a world championship point for anybody who finishes in the top 10 with the fastest lap. That fastest lap won't get much faster yet because they're burning down their kilos of fuel. Have a much lighter car when they put the tyres on.
Mungkin nggak Hamilton ngegas di awal-awal, jadi bahan bakarnya habis, terus nggak cukup buat bertahan.
Nggak. Kalau kayaknya nggak mungkin.
Kalau kita lihat pace-nya dari tadi Hamilton berusaha.
Iya. Tapi kemungkinan nggak.
Verstappen has stayed within the white lines, but
I'm not changing my mind on that. I'll stick.
Ya, escape route tai.
He's gone through it.
Maaf dah gue ngomong kasar tuh, tapi bener.
Nggak
ada obstacle apapun yang buat dia slow down dikit.
the trouble is the rules
Iya sih.
leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage is what gets you into trouble with the stewards.
Apa nih Hamilton?
Just keep it up, keep pressure on.
Now, Hamilton had the advantage because he was out in front. Did he give back all the advantage he gained by going off the
Pemutaran
track?
udah 61.
That's the
Kita lihat
debate here.
ini
Red Bull do want to
target gue
appeal this
100
race.
dapat nggak?
And as for the right
Apa?
view, that's the sort
Target
of
view gue
information they're
100.
gonna have
Bodo
to
amat
find.
cuma
It's a
5 detik 10 detik. Kita kejar view aja bos. Orang-orang pasti bakal nyari. Tuh fastest lap lagi Luis.
Into the distance anyway, such that will be probably irrelevant if it stays like this in terms of what happened on the first lap. And these are tremendously fast laps from Luke. Look at that.
Kanan ada di crooked sini mas.
What that means, Crofty, is that they got with that kind of gap, whatever Red Bull do with Verstappen Mercedes could wait another lap. They've got there'll be no undercut by somebody going out on fresher tyres and getting ahead of you because they'll have enough slack in the system, enough fat in the system, if you like, if he can get himself towards
Mungkin nggak Red Bull pakai strategi overcut.
Waduh, agak ngeri ya. Karena terakhir kali berhasil, tapi pertama kali mereka kan di overcut sama Mercedes. Apa nih Verstappen?
Wah. Dan belakangnya udah mulai nggak dapat grip.
Gue coba pakai mobil 2015, itu ban belakang hilang, udah mengerikan banget. Di tikungan gue udah nggak tolong. Balance-nya gue majuin forward juga udah nggak bisa. Losing banget. 13 dari 58, ayo. Max.
Verstappen makes his way around turn 1.
Well, we thought these would go probably 20 laps, didn't we, before they were crying too much. They've obviously done 3 in qualifying anyway. So sort of 15, 16 laps before I'm
single stop, double stop.
Struggling.
Kenapa? Single stop apa double stop ini? 58 lap.
Wow, what a pain it's proved to be for them.
Susah juga sih.
Kalau single stop terlalu gambling banget kata gue.
Kemungkinan 2 stop.
Berarti tebakan gue habis ini max hard, habis itu medium.
Atau enggak medium terus medium lagi.
Ya, agak gambling sih. Kan gue pilih hard karena dia buat nutup gap mediumnya Hamilton.
Bisa jadi.
Alonso sama Gasly main hard, gila.
And I wonder if George Russell struggling too, down at 18th at the moment.
Apakah Alonso Mbak Norris? Oke, McLaren-nya Lando bermasalah. Red Bull masuk pit. Hamilton udah standby ya. Verstappen masuk pit. Oke.
Seriusan.
Ini udah lu nge-lag ya?
Iya.
Clean stop. Ayo. Iya kan pakai ban hard. Berapa detik? 2,1. Luar biasa. Carlos Sainz prediksi gue bakal bantuin Hamilton, bakal bantuin Max gara-gara Red Bull Junior Academy.
Onto the track he goes now. He is ahead of one Ferrari, but only just as Charles Leclerc goes off. And maybe a bit distracted.
Jauh banget.
Leclerc going very, very wide.
Lock.
Locking up going into turn 5. He didn't get past the
Sayang banget.
Max Verstappen, but with Charles Leclerc going wide like that.
Kalau di urutan ini masih Ferrari, soalnya Ferrari yang bakal fitri karena Norris bermasalah. Tsunoda bro, nggak tahu dari mana tiba-tiba. Wih, respect my Japanese friend. Apa nih Hamilton? Oke, Hamilton masuk box. Kita lihat.
Coba kita lihat.
Hamilton pasti masang hard buat ngejar Verstappen. Let's go.
Mungkin.
Ya kan hard.
Iya.
Slow stop, selisih 3 detik.
Nah, kejauhan.
P1. Ya, masa kejauhan. Kita berharap sama Mr. Tire Management di sini.
Iya. Enggak, gue berharap Perez bisa ngeblok.
Ya, ingat dia jago nahan ban. Jadi kita harapan championship Verstappen bergantung pada Perez.
Iya.
Hamilton's made his pit stop. He's second. And if you're a Sky Q or a Sky Glass customer and you're just joining us this afternoon, well, if you press
sekali lagi buat para penonton, gue ingetin driver of the day hari ini Kimi Raikkonen ya. Ngomongin aja terus kayak gitu. Siapa tahu ada menang. Wow. Ngeri banget anjay.
Iya.
Wah.
soft compound tires on
Biasanya
there
gue
as
kayak
well. And
gitu, kalau
it was
kabel
quite
USB-nya kurang
safe for
tiba-tiba
Leclerc there.
nggak
But
masuk.
yeah, maybe he was a bit urgent as well, trying to get past, hoping to get past the Red Bull exiting the pit lane. But I don't know, it kind of feels game back on now to me.
Well,
Perez.
Hamilton's fitted. Plan A. Rotation. Plan B. Plan B.
yes, plan A
Plan B.
might have been to come into
Plan
the
B,
pit. Plan
tahan
B,
Hamilton
to stay
karena
up there.
Ceko
Maybe
bisa
Sergio Perez
ngontrol bannya
now
dia.
can help Max Verstappen.
Iya.
If Hamilton catches it,
Mungkin kalau
not
misalnya
going
perlu
quite as
kita akan
fast as
melihat
Hamilton, and
rewind
just
Hungary
try and slow up
2021 di
the
sini,
momentum
tapi versi
for
Red
Lewis
Bull.
Hamilton. And as it stands at the moment, that momentum is gaining and gaining and
Ingat.
gaining with every lap, and there's
Siapa
not
tahu
much
kan?
that stops him so far.
Gue tunjukin kan meme-nya. Siapa yang bisa di NF-in Hamilton dapat kursi Red Bull buat 2023.
Nggak, yang gue pikir mungkin nggak Perez itu brake check
Maksudnya?
ngerem dadak di depannya Hamilton.
Iya, mungkin kami kaget strateginya Bottas diambil.
Iya.
Menurut gue itu worth it. Dengan jaminan dia dapat musim depan dia lagi 2023. Slow stop banget Leclerc 3,4.
Ocon is out, Leclerc is out, Leclerc 15th and Ocon in 17th. Ted, down to you.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc's
Makin jauh.
lost a bit of time on the rear. The left rear of the tyre was a bit going on.
Bagi Tuhan tidak ada yang mustahil di top.
To the Ferrari, the
Wih,
one that was
lihat kayak
behind
gini gue
him,
ingat Tuhan.
second. I've had the
Wow,
line
udah.
from Mercedes guys. You want to know their view on the lap one shenanigans?
Well, I think
Bentar,
everybody
Nara mangkok.
wants to know that.
Yeah, because we're all kind of in any other race, in any other series, Lewis would have had to give the place back. They don't see it that way, understandably. They say it was a lunge from Max. He pushed Lewis off the track. I point out they didn't touch. They said they didn't touch only because Lewis avoided the collision. He tried to turn in, couldn't take his line, couldn't get round the corner, so had to go off and go across the runoff. That's the view from Mercedes. Take it.
I used to call that motor racing.
So nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Hamilton gila fastest lap lagi.
You look at that.
Hapus banget ya anjay.
But Verstappen.
Jadi nggak tenang. Aduh, Max nyenggol apaan itu?
Nggak understeer.
In the dirty air of the Ferrari,
Oh.
pushing hard. He said to me actually on Saturday
Dia kayak
night.
ngeliat diri gue sendiri lagi main F1 anjay.
Penultimate turn 15 is a bit of a
Jauh.
handful.
Oversteer-nya.
It's a handful of opposite long.
Di parabolika.
DRS.
Oke.
Tapi kok nggak nyampe?
Iya ya. Oke, potong dari kiri. Oh, nggak dapet.
Nggak dapet.
Mungkin ini kita strategi Red Bull Junior Academy dan sering carry.
That's cost Verstappen a lap of passing the Ferrari. Unless he can get past in the turn 9, and he hasn't.
Nggak dapet juga.
The door might be open, but once again, just a bit too far behind. Yes, it has now cost him an extra lap, stuck behind his
Tapi menurut gua
Toro Rosso, Carlos
bagus
Sainz.
sih si Carlos Sainz di depannya Verstappen ngasih slipstream. Perez gapnya 6 detik agak kejauhan buat ngasih slipstream.
Holding up Lewis Hamilton. You know, the gap initially was 11 seconds. It's now down to 6.5. Obviously, Lewis much quicker on new hard tires, but I think that's why they've switched, just to try and put a bit of pressure on Mercedes. What else can they do?
Anyway, ini bannya Ceko udah lewat limit loh.
Martin Brundle,
Iya.
would that be worth a try?
Norris masuk pit lagi.
That's the straight, isn't it? Nothing to lose.
Gila, Tsunoda P5. Waduh, Bottas P6. Gue baru nyadar.
Let's see if Perez can hold Lewis Hamilton up, and for how long. I don't think it'll be long, personally.
Well, Perez, Hamilton chasing Perez, striking distance, powered by AWS, our battle
AWS
forecast.
dong.
Striking
Orang-orang
distance in
jenis.
20
Oke,
minutes.
Verstappen berhasil ngambil.
Akhirnya.
Carlos Sainz.
Yang bener gitu, kalau udah disalip di chicane udah tahan aja. Kalau nggak lu bablas. Oke, gap to Hamilton 8 detik. Bisa lah.
Lewis Hamilton, around about 12 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. As Sainz might try to force his way. No, he can't round the outside. He had DRS down that straight, but he's not going to get past Verstappen there. So Perez leads at a
Gue nggak sabar nunggu Drive to Survive musim depan.
Lewis Hamilton.
Iya.
Menarik banget,
Comes Max
menarik.
Verstappen after this move.
Sayangnya cuma 10 episode per season loh.
Really fighting him into turn 6.
Agak kurang.
Carlos knows that's not his fight.
Anyway, linknya udah gue kasih ya.
Apa?
Link situsnya yang baru udah gue kasih.
Oh, udah.
Very strong
Iya.
end.
Kadang suka berubah domainnya karena kena OTT. Ya, dia ke Perez 3 detik.
He didn't put Carlos Sainz.
Aduh.
Carlos Sainz has been putting together the longest active scoring streak on the grid. 14
Let's go,
races,
Checo.
as you said, despite failing to reach Q3.
Masih ada Sainz sama Tsunoda buat nahan Bottas. Karena gue udah enak ngeliat trio Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas.
Finishes in this season. And meanwhile, Norris's McLaren teammate Daniel Ricciardo pits. Norris running down in 13th, but as we heard a
Update
little while ago,
McLaren
losing some
versus
gears from time
Ferrari,
to time. He's
kayaknya
still
yang bakal
running
menang
out on
McLaren.
the track, but his pace
Iya.
Soalnya
exactly brilliant at the moment.
Norrisnya mana?
Yeah, he's got
Oh
8
enggak,
of
yang
them
menang
gears,
Ferrari.
but obviously what they mean
McLarennya
is
terjun bebas banget.
they're not
12-15. Ih,
Ricciardo kemana? Oh,
masuk pit.
Oh iya iya. Gila. McLaren kayak turun banget nggak sih?
Tapi ada apa mereka? Apa gara-gara livery baru?
2009.
Hah?
Meanwhile, Mr. L Plan udah P7.
Oh iya.
Bener-bener El Plan.
So the regulations say the Formula 1 car must not be any wider than 2 meters.
How wide do you think Sergio Perez can make that Red Bull at the moment then?
Aduh,
Needs to-
intervalnya
to quadruple the
1,1.
width, or mentally at least. How can he hold up Lewis Hamilton?
Udah sih, plan sih tabrak Hamilton lah. Bodo amat dibilang kotor, dirty. Tapi itu membuat semuanya menarik, iya kan?
Iya.
Daripada kayak gini. Kalau kayak gitu paling Red Bull yang Checo yang kena jadi tunggal, tapi kan Verstappen juara dunia. Aduh, kena di RS ini Mato. Selisihnya udah 0,5. Iya kan, kena di RS-nya.
Blok. Iya.
Ya.
Enggak, langsung ambil
Di cover.
inside. Nice.
Turki 2021, genius.
Iya.
Ya.
Exactly what we expected.
Ya, udah.
Tenang, ada di RS lagi di depan.
And that was about all Perez could do, or was
Dapat
it?
kan?
Perez with DRS.
Oh, gila Ceko.
Gila.
Respect.
Wow,
this guy is crazy.
This is a very, very good tussle here. Perez is absolutely on the limit and as fair as he can be.
And parked on the apex of the
Standing
slope corners.
ovation buat Ceko.
DRS.
You're the man.
Wow.
Gila banget.
Gila.
Gila. Kebantu banget.
Wah, kita nggak expect itu anjir, bener-bener dilawan.
Flecks of paint coming up from the curbs as
Okay.
they make their way around the final
Cover,
two
cover,
turns.
cover.
Try and get Perez in the turn one. And can't quite do it. Perez on team game
Masih
here
bisa.
for Max Verstappen.
Gap ke Max tinggal 3 detik. Ayo.
His tires a little bit as well.
Apa Hamilton bacotnya?
Ya.
Alah bacot. Cry Milton.
For the final lap, Perez and Hamilton in the 134s and the 133s. The gap.
Oke, di RS. Hati-hati. Tolong di.
And Hamilton, you can see.
Nice.
Nah ini. Ayo cover.
Ya.
Ya. Di overtake di selanjutnya. Kayak tadi lagi. Tenang.
On lap 21, Hamilton does get past Perez, but Perez has played the ultimate team game. And he's
Nice.
Ya,
Setting
nomor 7.
bagus.
Give his teammate a minute to
Yuk,
go.
slipstream.
Team play.
Wow.
Team play we talked about earlier on.
Ya, oke.
Having to
Replay.
clean out of the way.
Oke. So good. Buat atas nama semua fans Verstappen, gue mau bilang makasih buat Perez. Pengorbanan lu worthy. Gila. Oke. Sekarang permasalahannya
Absolute animal.
Ceko mau dikasih ban apa? Karena kita ada Bottas yang harus ditahan.
Iya, nggak Bottas. Kayaknya ketahan sama Tsunoda deh.
Oh gila, bener-bener strategi dua tim Red Bull. Tapi kira-kira Ceko dikasih hard apa medium?
Gua kemungkinan hard.
Oke, lu bener hard. Go, Perez. 2,4. Oke, bagus saudara-saudara sekalian.
Red Bull were trying the soft compound tyre, and they haven't used the hard tyres throughout the weekend so far. This is when Hamilton got past Perez, but it didn't end there, did it?
Mungkin nggak Hamilton terlalu maksa ban hardnya?
Mungkin.
Kita semua suka itu.
I think Lewis was
Ada review yang tadi masih yang Perez overtake dari samping. Ngeri banget gila gua.
There's been quite the duel, and an unexpected duel between the Red Bull and the Mercedes, but not Verstappen and the Red Bull on that occasion.
Once again, looking at, so Max is a 10th quicker through the middle part of this lap, 10th down in the
Sekarang
first
kita
lap.
masuk fase long game, sama-sama hard.
Raw speed, haven't we, this Mercedes-Benz in the hand of Hamilton, particularly for the last 3 Grand Prix, and it's now Max in the turbulent air behind him.
Buat yang baru nonton, hello, selamat datang di live streaming. Sorry, cuma bisa komentator doang kalau nggak kena copyright. Tapi kita berusaha kasih audionya. Dan buat yang baru nonton, gue kasih recap sedikit. Tadi Ceko defense-nya gila banget. Bener-bener genius plan di Red Bull. Gue juga mau ngingetin buat pilih driver of the day-nya Kimi Raikkonen ya.
He hasn't pitted yet. Neither has Valtteri Bottas. Sergio Perez has, currently in 5th place, and we can head down to 10.
Kimi Raikkonen has made his last scheduled stop in Formula One.
Hah, Raikkonen udah pit stop terakhir. Dia main satu stop.
So quick, but it was all right.
Wow, Iceman.
Oh,
apa kita ngelihat pengulangan momen sejarah Schumacher sama Raikkonen balapan lagi. Meskipun anaknya kenapa?
Tadi kan lu sempat nanya prediksi itu 1 stop apa 2 stop?
Iya.
Gue ngeliat kayaknya 1 stop. 1 stop deh.
Hungaria 2019. Jangan lupa itu Hungaria 2019.
Oh.
Undercut. Gini. Ini coba gini. Hamilton tetap kayak gini. Tiba-tiba udah dekat-dekat terakhir Max masuk pasang soft. Habis.
Iya.
Itu ya. Gue beruntung nggak duduk di ruang strateginya Red Bull, bisa keringat dingin gue gitu.
Iya.
Perez kenapa nih?
So we're going for the end. We're looking what we can do to help Max.
Paul after.
So to the plan A for now. To the plan A for now.
Oke, bad news, Perez kesalip sama Bottas. Dan Bottas P3. Oh, son of a bitch. Ya, Sunoda masuk pit lagi.
Little frozen tear on my cheek for we're losing Kimi Raikkonen. The man who doesn't have adrenaline in his bloodstream, he has antifreeze.
Yo, Yuki slow stop. 3,5 ah. Damn. Padahal udah bagus-bagus dia.
The man who before this race had raced 57,454 miles in Formula One.
Kayaknya selang-seling sih kita tukar-tukaran streamingnya atau soalnya ngeluting view-nya bagus banget. Gue udah nembus 100.
He's so over. He loves driving a Formula 1 car. He's so over anything else to do with being a Formula 1 driver.
With a smile on his face, Sebastian Vettel has come into the pits. That's why you see him dropping down into 60.
Russell belum stop dari tadi ya.
So far, Valtteri Bottas doing a sterling job on those medium compound tyres. Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, who are on the hard tyres to start off with, and also Nicholas Latifi and George Russell. Still going quite long with their first stint.
As we said in Brazil, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Red Bull and Verstappen don't have an answer to Hamilton and Mercedes' raw speed.
The engine that's powering Lewis Hamilton made his debut, of course, in Brazil, where he took a penalty on the grids for the Grand Prix, took an even bigger penalty for the sprint race, starting last. and then started 10th for the Grand Prix, went on to win it. And Brazil was the start.
Hard. Semua udah hard sama medium.
Hamilton, where he's won the last 3, and for the 8th time in his career, on course at the moment to win 4 in a row. One of Red Bull and Max Verstappen.
Buat yang baru datang, sorry cuma bisa ngasih audio doang. Kalau misalnya gue kasih videonya pasti ini kena ban. Jadi maaf ya.
20 seconds clear.
Jangan lupa pilih pin rekonen buat driver of the day.
Form that they're both on, and privilege has been to watch these two this year.
Sekarang udah
see
97.
drivers coming and going in Formula One. We can remember Lewis Hamilton's debut in Melbourne all those years ago in 2007, where he went around the outside of his experienced teammate and world champion Fernando Alonso. At the first corner, he has gone on to dominate in Formula One, and for the last 1,506
pemutaran gue udah tembus 100 jadi 102 sekarang.
World champion. But it was pretty clear from the outset that Verstappen would soon be challenging him. Didn't take long, Martin, for you to say that Verstappen will be a world champion one day. It might still be his day here in Abu Dhabi this evening, but he's going to have to produce a pretty epic Champions drive from here.
I did say that back in 2016. I didn't think it would take until at least 2022 before it happened.
So this was on lap 20. Lewis Hamilton trying to get past Sergio Perez, and if he was wary of any contact with the Red Bull, he certainly didn't show it. He left enough space.
Apa nih?
It's a bit dangerous. Can you warn them?
Ala bacot, merci. Biasanya juga begitu. Komplainnya too dangerous, lebay ah.
I fully expected Sergio to lunge back up the inside down into turn 6, but
meanwhile, as we watch what happened on lap 20 between Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton, how they came very, very close together, I think Kimi Raikkonen's Formula One career has come to an end, and he's stopped out on track. He's had a bit of a brush with the barriers, but he's managed to keep going again. There is Kimi Raikkonen, damage to the left-hand side of his front wing end plates. Wow.
Mik lu kedeketan kayaknya. Ini Kimi kenapa? Mik lu kedeketan ke speaker. Suara lu jadi gak kedengeran ini. Ini Kimi kenapa? Ada yang tahu?
Kimi kayaknya nabrak. Gak tahu ada kontak sama siapa atau sama apa.
Oh no. Apa ini strategi dia biar dia nggak diwawancara? Coba kita replaynya.
So this is down into turn 6. Oh, absolutely looked like a braking issue.
Agak sebut tapi kata gua.
Brake by wires led him down there somewhere, and the rear axle has locked on him.
Brake by wire system helps the very skinny rear brakes adjust themselves somewhat.
Yang duduk di tribun situ posisinya hoki banget anjay. Ada tiba-tiba ada Kimi crash.
The end of the straight doing 200 miles an hour. In the space of about 80 meters. Ted, down to you.
Oh, Kimi, it's not going to end like this, is it? They're checking out the front of the car. They're having a look whether there's anything they can see that's wrong with the brakes. Something stopped it. I'll try. He's turned the car off. He's turned the car off. George Russell's been struggling with upshifts in his gearbox for the last lap or two. Wants to come in when you're on the replays of the Sergio Perez.
Ya.
Lost drive as well.
Kimi. Ya udah, apa boleh buat?
Yeah.
Dia di finish.
Virtual safety car that might help Valtteri Bottas, but Kimi. He's getting a round of applause. They're on their feet in the grandstand, giving him a round of applause to say thank you, Kimi, for everything.
Thank you, Kimi.
Such a character, but
gila Alfa Romeo ngeluarin dongkrak aja lama banget.
Kimi Raikkonen, you know what you're doing. We will leave you alone now. George Russell limping back to the pits.
Ini Russell kenapa?
Team radio.
Russell kayaknya gearbox.
It's been a bit of a struggle in this race.
Oke, biarin aja dia mah.
This is the moment where his power unit.
Sekali lagi, apakah Toto Wolff mengambil driver Williams yang tepat?
Menurut gue tepat masih.
Ya, kayaknya setelah kehokian di Spa udah payah. No, Kimi.
Sad moment. He did leave F1 back in 2009, did a couple of years of rallying. Said he didn't expect to be back in Formula One.
I'm so glad he did, and we'll all remember the US Grand Prix in 2018 and what a magnificent victory that was for Kimi. What a career it's been. Mark Arnold with him. His
Apa Kimi
first
sengaja ya biar dia cepat
by
pulang?
inside, throughout
Apa Kimi sengaja biar dia cepat pulang?
replica
Kita
helmets
kan
of
tahu
his
Kimi gimana orangnya.
helmets in
Mau
Formula
party.
One,
Iya. Kimi
years ago,
Kimi
made his
party
debut with
all the
helmet
time.
back in 2001. And it's all come to an end. Not
Iya.
just for him, George Russell as well.
Russell DNF.
This race, Karun, to you.
Masih belum terlambat buat Toto Wolff kontrak Nicholas Latifi.
They've just asked Max Verstappen for a wing update, which means what do you want us to change when you come in the pits? They wouldn't be asking that if he wasn't going to come in. So I think they've got to roll the dice and do something different. The tricky thing is Bottas is inside.
Bentar, benar jahat.
That's right. So if Mercedes are also looking, I'm sure they're listening to Verstappen's radio. Bottas is in Verstappen's pit window at the moment, so it's a little bit tricky for Max.
Prediksi gua kalau misalnya Max sekarang masuk pit pasang medium, setuju nggak?
Kenapa?
Prediksi gua kalau Max sekarang masuk pit dia bakal masang medium.
Got a long way to go on these tyres. Have to cover Max
enggak juga.
Verstappen if Verstappen
Karena kan dia mau adjust wing nih. Di belakang ada Bottas. Kalau dia pasang hard lagi pasti kena tangkap.
Nggak tahu juga sih tapi
Agak gambling.
kalau medium agak riskan di akhir.
Nah itu.
Mungkin di lap 30-an mungkin baru ganti.
After Max pits.
And Max Verstappen, as we see his partner Kelly Piquet watching from the Red Bull garage. Max Verstappen has a new set of hard tyres that they can fit on. They haven't got any new sets of tyres to put on Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes. We're on lap 29 or lap 30 now of 58.
Wow, Hamilton bener-bener nge-push itu ban hardnya anjay.
Sky Cube or Sky Glass.
Hati-hati.
The highlights of this race
Nanti
so
flat
far
out.
alongside the live action. And if Red Bull are thinking of a pit stop, then Verstappen, then Hamilton might have just been given a wake up by the team to say, come on, it's hammer time here, Lewis. We could do with a bit of a bigger gap between yourself and Max.
Now got up to just over 4 seconds, as you can see, top left. But
Apa nih Bottas?
So one more lap and everything you've got.
Bottas dari tadi belum ngepit ya.
Nggak kayaknya udah sekali ditumbalin seperti biasa.
Hasn't pitted. Perez running in fourth. Has made a
Apakah
stop.
Bottas akan bilang tidak kayak di Belanda?
Six Sainz ahead of
Lagi
Norris.
toh pula ini udah balapan terakhirnya dia. So
Outside of that,
fuck
Esteban
off.
Ocon
Fuck it.
starting to up his pace a little bit, but quite a bit behind Yuki Tsunoda in the points. Danny Ricciardo running in 12. Giovinazzi 13th. Vettel, Stroll, Schumacher, Latifi, who's a lap down, and we've lost Kimi Raikkonen for this race. George Russell, whose Williams' career ends consecutive DNFs.
Halo yang lagi nonton, baru cuma bisa ngasih suara.
Virtual or actual safety cars, or red flag, of course, as well. So it becomes a strategy race in that respect. And you're right, Lewis has put the hammer down, and the gap just squeezing a little bit further out, isn't it? But this is a key time.
Gapnya udah jauh, udah senggang lagi yang itu 4,3.
And he could not come out ahead of Valtteri Bottas, who is yet to stop and actually coming into the pits now. So will this make up Red Bull's mind a little bit? It looks like.
Oke, at least Perez di depan Bottas sekarang.
Is going to stay out for at least
Oh my god,
one more lap.
Alonso P5.
Now to pit Verstappen into.
Wah,
Is
menarik
there
ini.
enough time for
Elplan.
Verstappen to make up the difference
Tunggu,
between
Alonso belum pit dari tadi, dia masih main hard. Bisa-bisa dia nunggu terakhir pasang soft, maju nyampe podium.
Put on Lewis's car.
Ini masalah gila banget.
We do know
Alonso P4.
have got 2 new sets of hard compact tires available, and they're only allocated to for the
Yang
weekend.
bikin meme Elplan, lu genius banget.
It's slightly bizarre, doesn't it?
Timingnya
But
tepat.
if they know enough about their tires and their cars now. But yeah, it is. So we'll just keep an eye on whether Lewis has actually
Orang-orang di
still
grup
got
WA udah mulai pesimis.
on. They look like they've been slightly run.
one new set of hearts for Lewis Hamilton, two, as Martin said, for the Red Bulls. Valtteri Bottas had a new set of hard compound tyres. He's
Dia
chasing
dapat itu lagi.
after the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
Oh enggak, Bottas
Yuki
ternyata.
Tsunoda in the background. That was a lock up there
Lu pikir
from the Ferrari. That's going to get
Hamilton dapat
Valtteri
di
Bottas
RS.
very interested now as they make their way out of the chicane and along the second of the back straights past the support paddock. And
Pertanyaannya gue ntar pas udah selesai ini siaran, gue penasaran kena copyright nggak audionya. Kalau copyright nggak apa-apa deh, takutnya kena ban.
No room pass for the Finn on that particular occasion, and he sticks down in ninth place as the lights, 1,700 spotlights surround this wonderful track, this impressive facility here in Abu Dhabi start to take effect. The lights
F1.com/spot
shining out to add even more colour as around the marina we wind our way and down the main straight. Leclerc keeping Bottas at bay.
So 4.6 up to 5 seconds now for Hamilton as Max Verstappen navigates, just about navigates his way past Mick Schumacher to lap him. And now you're starting to see a big enough gap.
Schumacher gue pikir bakal berusaha mempertahankan rekor bapaknya ini.
And even if you're
Enggak, yang blue flag itu karena ada blue flag ini.
Di grup udah pada pesimis, nangis. Berapa sih ini? Gila. Wow, 5 detik bisa nggak sih buat ngejar di sini?
Agak susah. Kalau ngeliat dari tadi gapnya makin gede.
Ayo mujizat itu nyata. Kalau Verstappen menang minggu depan gue ke gereja.
From Charles Leclerc into the new bank turn 9 of the steering wheel, and it somewhat cut off any ambition that Valtteri Bottas had there.
It's a track that offers overtaking opportunities. I was talking to Andreas Seidel, the McLaren team boss. He said this should be something.
If we were to stop under the safety car, would you prefer medium or hard? Both tires felt good. This one goes to...
Kalau ada safety car bodoh.
Keep your options open. Yeah, Seidel saying that we should have overtaking opportunities. I'd like to see a little bit more. It's certainly been better than previous Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but I'm not quite sure the track changes have gone far enough, Martin, to give us.
Kata gue yang berperan di sini track layout tadi perbaruin, itu aja udah.
Charles Leclerc, I can watch this all night.
Ayo.
Brilliant view.
Yeah, your head moves around a lot, but somehow brilliantly your eyes can level that all out.
Tadi ini balapan, padahal udah hampir setengah lebih. Kita streaming udah mau hampir 1 jam ya.
Various corners. Valtteri Bottas will get another helping now then of DRS as Leclerc moves right to try and break the slipstream, and then Bottas surely head inside, and surely not. For some reason, went around the outside.
Hasil balapan ini gue jadiin konten.
Well, yeah, you said it, Martin. Surely he should have got past around the
anyway,
outside.
Buat kalian yang lagi nonton ini, cek juga video uploadan gue hari ini. Cek aja kok. Tinggal di tab channelnya Park TV ada. Like, gue hunting di depsah. Menarik juga kok. Putih-putih tonton. Dan buat para dermawan-dermawan yang mungkin nonton, ini ada link Saweria sama Social Bus buat upgrade internet biar musim depan bisa streaming terus setiap balapan. Kenapa?
Yeah, doing a good job. Really good job.
But not enough to deny Mercedes an 8th Constructors' Championship in a row. Behind Perez comes Alonso and Gasly. They still have
udah bener-bener gak ketolong ini ya.
That gap between Hamilton and Verstappen is growing lap by lap. Hamilton is dropping his gap at this stage of the race. So there is inherent speed in that Mercedes.
Hamilton sama Bottas bener-bener nggak ada poin sama sekali.
Impossible.
We're not seeing it because the other things more important what's going
Tapi
on. But it's really
bener-bener masih
tight dropping.
dibejek itu
They're
ban
separated by
hard.
only a second and a half each time round. I don't know which way it's going to go. Gasly's actually
Apa long
recovering
game
well.
kah?
Look like Alpine's the faster car here, but Ocon out of the points at the moment, 11th. But Fernando holding on to P4 ahead of Gasly. Pit stops not
not too far away for those two.
And at the fourth time of asking, Valtteri Bottas gets past Charles Leclerc. And it just seems that he had better traction coming out of the hairpin. And Charles Leclerc, as you mentioned, Martin, his rear end sliding around a little bit in previous laps, just didn't have the grip to brake as late as Bottas either and hold up the Mercedes for very much longer. So Bottas is now free then to chase after the car in front, which is Lando Norris. And what's this? This looks like a car moving slowly, maybe trying to get out of the way. Antonio Giovinazzi, either trying to get out of the way or he's got a problem.
Kenapa nih Gio?
No shifting, no shifting.
Oh,
Ya.
gearbox. Semuanya masalah kebanyakan.
Straight line atau gearboxnya kenceng banget, kena terus. Coba Stuart keluarin virtual safety car kayaknya ini cocok ya. Nggak bakal dapet nih.
Safety car.
It's a long way from the service road.
Jauh.
Closer to the service road. I see no option but to put out a virtual safety car there.
Dapat kan, dapat nih.
You can
Kalau
just cut off
VFC
the double red yellow.
dikeluarin, kemungkinan Verstappen masuk kasih medium.
Mungkin.
On the exit of turn 9, which is a very fast corner.
Ayo race FIA keluarin VFC.
Anything other than a virtual safety car, which means then, of course, the leaders will pit.
He is parked in a very handy spot if he wants to go and pop onto a boat, like Kimi Räikkönen did once when he crashed out in Monaco.
Yuk, VFC-nya keluar. Akhirnya penyelamat Red Bull fans.
So, on the exit of turn 9, there is a stranded Alfa Romeo. We now have a virtual safety car. So, all the drivers increase their speed by 40%, no overtaking. The race pretty much gets neutralized. But these cars can pit, and Ted Kravitz.
Ya benar medium, kalau soft nggak sampai.
Ferrari, first of all, is pitting. And it,
10 seconds.
Hamilton staying out, oke. Kata gue Max masuk tapi harus clean stop. L-plan P4. Oh iya, kalau Hamilton masuk, nyangkut di belakang Alonso masalah.
Iya sih.
Ditahan. Dendam McLaren 2008 ya? Oh, siapa? Red Bull masuk siapa nih? Tunggu, nggak tahu, masih belum jelas tapi Red Bull Verstappen.
Oh, aman. Belakangnya Perez.
Oke, clean stop medium.
Probably 10 odd seconds. Put some different
Oke,
tires on it.
let's go. Go.
Second set
Agak pelan ya.
Iya, 2,6 pelan.
It's a no-brainer. They haven't got the pace to win this by catching and passing.
Ini menarik. Mau nggak mau Hamilton harus masuk karena ban dia hard terus dibejek terus dari tadi.
And he can also utilize this bit of track underneath the tunnel, maybe to shave off a little bit more time as well, because the safety car one line won't be with him until he makes his exit juga. Tunnel back onto the track again. Perez is going to
jaga-jaga kalau Hamilton pit sekarang kena mereka.
Now got a brand new set of the
Perez dikasih hard dong. Iya. Buat ngeganjel. Kenapa ini Mercy?
That's Toto Wolff saying, don't give us a safety car.
Toto, I'm sorry, peraturannya begitu. Kalau harus dipanggil VFC ya udah, nggak usah protes. Karena coba kalau misalnya udah di belakang pasti juga lu minta VFC.
Michael Massey's got a safety. He's in charge of safety around
Iya,
here.
dia nggak bisa begitu.
But
Kalau
I guess what Mercedes were nervous of there is if Hamilton pitted and Verstappen stayed out and kept track position. So it was.
L-plan
really only ever going to play into Red Bull's hands because they've kind
Hamilton kalau misalnya Hamilton keluar di belakangnya Gasly, masalah banget. Ada Gasly, Tsunoda, Alonso. Tiga orang itu pasti carry max.
Iya, terus Alonso kayaknya masih dendam gara-gara 2008.
Iya, kita nggak tahu Bottas mau kemana loh. Dari tadi Bottas, iya, gue diem aja. Tiba-tiba ending-endingnya, fuck you Hamilton. Tunggu Hamilton nggak kena. VSC-nya ending.
we're going to be in trouble.
Harapan kita sekarang Latifi
A safety car, a
Gear
virtual
box
safety
problem
car, a
juga.
safety car reduces your
Yeah.
pit stop loss to about 13-14 seconds. Normally, it's about 22 seconds.
18
That is
detik
how
kekejar itu
Verstappen has
pakai
got a
new medium.
deeper second pit stop. But what this means now is that on lap 38 out of 58,
Mungkin.
it is very
Update
much
buat championship
because
P3
Hamilton is on a set of tyres
Ferrari lah McLaren. Kalau gue
is on a
lihat-lihat
new set of tyres
Ya.
that have
kemungkinan
now
yang menang
done
Ferrari.
one lap.
Iya.
So what is Verstappen's pace going to be between now and the checkered flag? And can he close down the gap between himself and Lewis
Max
Hamilton?
menang, gue potong
Game
di
on
18.
to the checkered
Bodo
flag.
amat.
Under 17 seconds, the gap between
Kan
Hamilton
mau
and
kan mau
Verstappen
libur,
is
masa
down
gue
to
gratisin.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
Menarik nih.
that's going to be the way of
Catat
it
itu.
towards the end of the race, isn't it?
Nggak,
Robbie?
gapnya nurun
But,
terus
I'm
dari
still
tadi.
struggling to think.
16 detik.
Yeah,
Ya, VSC-nya ngebantu banget.
He would have been on new tyres. Yes, all right. Verstappen might
mau,
have
nggak
done the
mau.
opposite, but Verstappen
Hamilton
Mau nggak mau,
harus
Hamilton maksa.
Apa nih?
That gap at 17.0 for Verstappen. He will need 8 tenths a lap on us to catch. So we just need to keep that in mind.
He might well get it, Crofty. It's exactly what he might have with those fresher tyres.
This is going to be an
Satu
intriguing,
sektor siapa?
absorbing,
Verstappen, udah ketangkep ini Max.
maybe controversial end.
Nice.
Who knows to the Formula One season? But the one thing I do know is it is not going to be dull. Stick with
Yo,
this.
langsung
because
fast
the
lap.
safety car has come out at a very nice time for Red Bull and Max Verstappen, and Hamilton, with 1.5 hands on the trophy, is going to have to hang on.
It's not great speed, but remember he
Dia
said
harus
a while
bertahan
ago,
sementara ban Harta dari tadi dibejek.
the
Iya.
25
Mimpi buruk
laps
banget sih
over
kata
already.
And on that last lap, the difference between Hamilton and Verstappen in terms of their lap times, 0.8 of a second.
This is going to need a Michael Schumacher-esque 20 qualifying laps.
Yeah, the potential to lose track position, lose too high.
That's what we were talking about, isn't it? They did beat Red Bull.
Kita semua menyukai percakapan ini.
Any kind of issue between the two plays into Red Bull's hands. So they're kind of damned if they did and damned if they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't come in the pits, but
Aduh, bentar gue ke toilet.
their call. You don't want to lose track position to Max Verstappen, but I was starting to say they need to be Schumacher-esque qualifying laps now. Banzai, flat out, 20 perfect qualifying laps for Max Verstappen if he's going to rescue this World Championship.
There are nerves on the pit wall at Mercedes. There are nerves on the pit wall at Red Bull. Hamilton then ahead of Verstappen. The gap under 16 seconds. Perez runs in third place ahead of Sainz and Norris. Bottas in sixth. Sonoda, Alonso, Gasly and Ocon. This
Sekarang
is
Alonso
Fernando
lawan
Alonso.
Sonoda.
That's
Iya.
how he got past Pierre Gasly. And
Gasly.
that's how Gasly got repassed.
Yeah, he tried to push me off. I was in front in the corner braking, so should have come in.
And that's an old message because Fernando would not have been speaking as he went down the inside on Pierre Gasly, ran himself off the track and over the curb. Did he stay ahead of Pierre Gasly? But he's ahead of him on the track at the moment.
Sonoda, wasn't it? I think.
Oh, is that Sonoda?
in that particular instance.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm back.
Again, dash it like crazy. Right.
Ayo, 18 lap lagi.
Incidents involving Sonoda and Alonso. No investigation necessary. Sonoda is now back ahead of Alonso, so the stewards consistent in their application of the rules. If you remember back to turn 6 on the first lap, where they decided no investigation necessary, Hamilton and Verstappen at that time.
So it feels to me as if raw pace alone.
Apa nih? Hamilton.
Well, I won't be able to keep this mixed up otherwise. Yeah, copy Lewis here. We should both be on the
Pit,
deck curve.
pit, pit.
I think absolutely on raw
Nggak,
pace
kemungkinan
alone, Lewis should have it covered.
mungkin nggak di lap 50 dia ngepit terus pakai soft.
Unless his
Wow.
tires are falling away
Wah.
from him.
Wah,
That's a big if, isn't it?
menarik.
Yeah, and that happy sounding
Itu
Lewis
replika di
Hamilton.
siapa aja yang disalip.
Tires would you want if we stopped under a safety car? Just sounds a little more tense when we hear him on the radio now. At 14.8 seconds the gap at the end of lap 40.
And that's what's even more confusing, isn't it? They were talking about if there's a safety car, which tyre should we put on? And they didn't stop, but we know why. They said they didn't want to give up track position.
Well, when you're out in front, you haven't got the luxury of waiting to decide what the other guy is going to do.
No. But at the same time, it wasn't going to really cost him badly, was it, in terms of the fresh. Anyway, that's what they decided to do. And Ted's got more news.
Before that, though, Martin, let's go to Karun at Sky Race Control.
Yeah, thank you, Coffee. I've just clarified with Mercedes, he did put on a scrubbed set of tyres, so good spot there, Martin Brundle. It was a set that they only scrubbed for one lap, though, so it's nearly new when they pitted Lewis. He has got, therefore, a brand new set of hard tyres, which he's now unlikely to use. So they had that option of a new set and elected not to do it.
It's like leaving your favourite chocolate, isn't it, in the box, and then somebody throws the box away or something. They're gone. You won't want to be pitting for them now, otherwise the World Championship's gone. So we'll watch these sector times. Interestingly, middle part of the lap, Lewis Hamilton is a 10th
Kita udah streaming hampir 1 jam, berarti tinggal 30 menitan lagi kelar.
Good speed, and now it's 10th.
Yes, Ted. Hello, Crofty. Yes, just quick on Valtteri Bottas. The virtual safety car came too late for him. He'd already pitted. Has emerged behind Lando Norris. Now this is all shaken out and is chasing the young Briton from Somerset very hard. Bottas looking like he's lining up for a move on Lando Norris on much fresher tyres.
Bekerja ya kayaknya.
Gasly on Fernando Alonso, and there is
Mereka
Esteban
tepat,
and
bikin rencana tepat, dinamainnya tepat.
for the one remaining points place in this race, which out in front is separated by 14.3 seconds as the AlphaTauri stays ahead of the Alpine going into turn 9 a few races ago. AlphaTauri and Alpine were locked together on points in the championship, but a podium for Fernando Alonso in Qatar, and then a 4th place for Esteban Ocon in Saudi have rather helped Alpine to pull away in that championship battle. They're in 5th place and fingers are being crossed absolutely everywhere you look at the moment, except in the cockpits of the AlphaTauri. Difficult to drive with your fingers crossed, I would imagine.
With his arms crossed now with almost full lock. These cars have got useless steering lock on them, the opposite of the London Taxi basically, because the front tyres are so fat you don't get much lock on them.
So, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix has Lewis Hamilton still out in the lead. 14.8 seconds was the gap a couple of laps ago as the drivers crossed the line. Max Verstappen making his way round the final turn. Lewis Hamilton heads down towards the hairpin. The gap now 14.1 seconds.
Yeah, it's been about 0.3 of a second. We have seen Lewis Hamilton somehow mercurially hang on to a set of tyres that shouldn't be giving as much grip as they do. And that's what he's doing at the moment.
Hamilton kesalip,
Will they hang on? Can he keep pushing that hard?
Januari 2019
The tyres hang on.
bakal
They
kayak
are.
lagi.
Hardest compound after all that we got here
Itu
this
sama
weekend.
apa ya? Kayaknya ada satu lagi kok.
Back in the middle of that
Yang
Pirelli
undercut.
range, when we say the hard tyre, they're not the hardest of hard tyres.
Sama
In some
itu
tracks,
apa
they would be the soft
Austin
tyre,
kemarin
depending on how many fast corners
Austin ya?
braking
kayaknya.
zones we've got.
Gue
On
nggak
that
nonton si
particular
Austin.
circuit,
Apa dia bilang gitu?
one thing is for
Sama.
sure,
Subuh
you're on
jam
lap
2.
43. This
Wih,
is
subuh
going
yang gue
right
tonton
down
jedah
to the
doang.
wire with Verstappen chasing Hamilton. And if Verstappen wants more pace, when he gets past the Dutch grandstand at the end of the back straight, he's going to feel the applause and the roar every time he gets there to try to help him on this charge. It's down to you.
This is going to go down to the wire. I'd hate to be on the Mercedes pit wall at the moment, but just across the pit lane here.
15 lap to go, ayo.
I wonder what Christian Horner's thinking as well, but maybe we can speak to him in a bit. But Pirelli say this hard tyre will do 50 laps, but we've seen higher degradation in the race in real time. All those figures that Pirelli say were based on practice, Crofty. I think we've seen higher degradation in the race. So yeah, it can do 50 laps, will it? And at the end of it, will they be very fast? Well, we're going to find out.
It's like Rockstars could do a 7-hour concert, but might be a bit tired by the end of it. We're on board with Valtteri Bottas in for just one moment. Coming into turn 9, thought Lando Norris was there for the taking. Norris stays ahead.
Long way for Hamilton to go.
Sergio Perez currently running third, around about 40 seconds off the race lead.
So, last 5 laps. Start 0.6 faster, then 0.5, then 0.4, 0.4, and then 0.2 of a second. See, he's getting, at this stage, every bit as much degradation, as we like to call it, as Lewis Hamilton out front.
On board with Max Verstappen.
Ayo Max, tenang, rambut gua hilang, gak apa-apa dah.
Turn 9, we make our way
Bener
now
ya.
Benar. Kapan gue bohong?
4 cars ahead who are battling.
DA Barakus.
Back markers might come into play
Gue
in
potong
this race as
ala
well.
DA malah masuk sekolah lagi loh.
Those back markers are
Gue
Fernando
berharap
Alonso, Esteban
sebenarnya
Ocon,
gue pengen
Daniel Ricciardo, and
potong
Charles
ala DA
Leclerc,
buat
and they
masuk
are
sekolah.
scrapping away
Tapi kan
for
gue
points.
ingat
So it's a bit
harus
unfair
ada mantan
on
yang
the back
dibuat
markers
menyesal.
of the
Jadi
cars
ya udah
that are
jangan.
next in line to be lapped.
Yeah. I guess if you're used to the hybrid
Kalau masuk
era
ntar
of
style
Mercedes-Benz,
Verstappen
like
rambutnya
markers.
cepet tumbuh anjir, paling juga 2 minggu udah panjang lagi.
Extra caution. It cost me second place in Detroit once by passing somebody, and whoever they were fighting with didn't realise that I was coming through as well, and that is a bit of a problem. I mean, these are very experienced drivers here. Basically, Lewis needs to tread slightly carefully because that's a battle royal going on. He's about to hoover up.
They're obliged to jump out of the way when the car that's about to lap them is about 1.2 seconds behind, and blue flags will be waved.
Hamilton kena traffic, bagus.
When he gets to these back markers, sometimes you
berapa?
breeze past
Oh,
on
iya.
the straight, other
Iya,
times you
lumayan.
might have to
Gue
stick
suka
with it for a
ini.
few corners before they can finally let you go through. And a right old battle royal this really is, with Esteban Ocon gaining on his teammate Fernando Alonso, with Alonso trying to gain on Pierre Gasly, but not really making much progress in that particular 9/10 of a second. Alonso was slower than
Bisa
Gasly.
gini anjing, Alfa Tauri double,
Now on the previous lap,
Alonso
right
double,
back of this battle
Alpine
is
double juga.
Charles Leclerc, and then comes Lewis Hamilton, who can see it all unfolding in front of him.
With a dozen laps to go and nearly 14 seconds advantage, he was told by his engineer he's got to be 8/10 a lap faster than you to catch you, and we're near fast enough in that respect.
Once again, Red Bull are looking for something beyond their control to try and help bring them back into this race. They've had the virtual safety car, which has helped. They had that great defence by Sergio Perez, which very much helped, but they might need something else to bring Max Verstappen back into this race. You can just see the Red Bull in the distance down that back straight as Hamilton disappeared through the chicane. Verstappen, who's been on the podium 17 times this season, either first or second, is on for another second place here. It'll give him the season record for the most amount of podiums scored, but it won't give him the World Championship as it stands. Lewis Hamilton on course to become champion, as one champion watches on as we talk about the other. Oscar Piastri, well done to you. Formula 2 champion for 2021. What a brilliant season that young man has had, and I'm sure we'll see him in Formula 1 eventually. In Formula 1 at the moment, 46 out of 58. We're on lap 46. We're reaching the climax of the season. Hamilton's coming up to lap 3. He's already lapped 1 in the case of Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen's trying to chase after him, but he's just not finding the pace. Ted Kravitz, down to you.
Well, you mentioned Charles Leclerc. That fitting under the virtual safety car really hasn't worked out well for Charles Leclerc at all. He's rejoined behind Daniel Ricciardo and is in a fight with Ocon and Alonso a bit further up for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. So not working out well for Charles Leclerc, but it is working out.
10 lap lagi mungkin gak Hamilton masuk pit?
Carlos Sainz in the sister Ferrari, P4, and looking good for it as well.
No,
Yeah, Norris keeping Valtteri Bottas at bay all the way, despite giving way. Both carrying Mercedes-Benz in.
Kalau udah berharap tadi kita anjir pas
Earlier in the race that he was losing gears and having technical difficulties. Lando Norris in a very solid 5th place at the moment, and for Lando Norris, a 5th place that would give him 5th place in the championship.
Driver of the day nomor 1 Raikkonen.
Points, the driver currently in 5th in the standings.
Kedua Perez.
Can move into the top 5, which he deserves for this season. It's been a really, really excellent season for Lando Norris. Could have had a win in Russia, that didn't go his way. Got a pole in Russia, but he has been on the podium 4 times and leading that McLaren charge.
Ayo, masuk pit.
Ignore the dash. Ignore the dash.
Masuk pit, masuk pit.
Of a Formula 1 season, when it's getting that close, any little thing, Martin, is going to be a bit of a distraction.
Pancar.
For the number of
Siapa
laps in
di race mana kayaknya ada yang terlalu maksa kira pecah bannya.
It's possible.
Silverstone 2020.
Siap.
This year. Maybe it's a software glitch in there, something that hasn't been
Lot
changed.
12,3.
Double check and triple check everything Because engineers and
Sangat
mechanics
bro.
getting into a
Bau-bau
race
strategi yang
might
tadi
be
gue
the one
bilang
little
nih.
thing
Iya,
that sets fire
mengerikan.
while you're concentrating on everything else. Good spot if it's true.
So Verstappen just took a second out of the lead there, but it's still a dozen seconds.
Kalau mungkin nggak Verstappen bakalan coba masuk pit juga.
Cleared 3 of the 4. He's got
Apa
a
dia
long
laju aja?
and Verstappen has
Karena
cleared both Aston
mepet bro,
Martins.
kejar-kejaran soft sama medium itu terasa loh.
Ricardo, Ocon, and
Iya.
Alonso.
Fans, well, I was going to say watching, but at some stages, when you're that closely invested in one way or the other, it's
12,1.
very, very difficult to watch.
Hamilton.
How many laps? 11 remaining against Verstappen, 12.3. How's it go? Come down to 12 already. It's just that back marker traffic, Lewis. He's going to have to get through it too.
Hamilton then making his way through the cars about to be lapped. Verstappen will have to do that himself very soon as well. Christian Horner on that Red Bull pit wall. I don't know if you're struggling to watch this or not, Christian, but if you were tense at the start, it's probably getting even more tense now.
11,6, 11,5.
You know, the pace of the Mercedes is too strong today, so Max is driving his heart out there, but
11,2. Ayo 10 detik masih bisa lah.
these last
Trafficnya
10
ngebantu
laps
banget. 1.
to turn it around, so he'll give it everything, but
Ya.
not sticking.
Nothing you can do now, I guess. It's Max's right
Aduh,
foot.
di depan lu sudah nggak ada traffic.
2 seconds in
Ada
the last 2
dua
laps.
Alfa.
Yeah, too much to do.
He's got 4 cars to go through. I mean, he needs some luck from the racing gods, I think, these last 10 laps, but we're going to give it everything as we have done all year, as Max has done all year, and he'll drive his heart out these last 10 laps, you can guarantee that.
Would this been a different race for you if Lewis Hamilton had to have given the place back at turn 6 on that opening lap, or do you think come the final
Gara-gara turn 1 sih anjir itu. Sumpah.
Well, it gives you more options, you have track position, you've got clean air.
Escape route-nya dong nggak ada.
Disappointed in that decision, but it is what it is.
Terlalu mengumpulkan.
We're just getting on with it. I think, in all honesty,
Ini
they just had a quicker car.
audio radionya Ferrari nggak ketutupan.
Still 10 laps to go.
Thanks ever so much, Christian. Lando Norris pits, slow puncture for Lando Norris, and that forced him into the pits. And well, that just compounds what has been a bit of a disappointing night in terms of technical difficulties. He was doing a
Update dari
super
anak-anak
job.
di grup.
Relegated now down to 8
Di depannya Hamilton sekarang Alonso.
Wah, nggak mungkin ditahan. Soalnya itu yang blue flag
He's got that.
pasti kena blue flag. Alonso.
Dia nggak peduli.
Curbs, that's the thing. You see, Lando's problems were sorted from early on. He was just being told on the radio to be careful about deployment, but that's just an energy recovery, a hybrid system, a bit of advice from his engineers. But these curbs, Pirelli were worried about them coming here because they're aggressive, like they're aggressive in Qatar, where we saw some front left punctures. So, has this Grand Prix got a further tyre twist in it, Crofty? Surely not.
Just as Christian Horner was saying, we need a miracle to win the race from here. They angle grinded down some of the curves
Verstappen juara dunia, Verstappen juara dunia. Kami muak lihat dominasi Mercedes.
Just to make them a little less
Dominasi
aggressive.
Hamilton.
But sadly for Lando Norris,
Jangan Mercedes.
puncture.
So we think the problem curbs maybe just turn 15, turn 16.
So turns 15 and 16, the final 2 corners on the track, taken at about 160 miles an hour, and then taken final corner around about 93
8 lap
miles.
lagi. Kami butuh mujizat Tuhan.
In terms of tyres not enjoying consistent pounding, in fact, Valtteri Bottas was the first one to find out, unfortunately for him.
This is Lando Norris, currently down in 9th place. Down in 9th place because the precious nets of the medium compound tyre, he's managed to get past Esteban Ocon. Lando Norris, who races all the way to the line, especially here in Abu Dhabi after a few seasons ago. He had a stellar last lap in his Grand Prix debut season. Came home to finish in 8th place, still racing to
Udah
the
mau
line.
dekat 1,5 jam.
Presume now then for Lewis Hamilton straight back into the 126s.
Kita
Now
mulai
he's
jam
cleared
berapa sih?
traffic.
Jam 8 tadi.
Now that Norris is pitted, that means there are 5 cars for Verstappen to get through in that DRS train, as we call it.
At least Verstappen
Get DRS.
sekarang traffic di DRS zone lah.
Cars. That
Yeah.
might just help him
Ngomong
shave off
Ya, ini
a couple of
harapan kita.
seconds here or there, but he needs a little bit more than that. As it stands, 394.5 points for Lewis Hamilton. He will become
this
world
bitch.
champion. Max Verstappen will have led more laps than any other driver during the course of this season, but it won't be enough to give him that dream of a first ever Formula One World Championship. We've said it all season long, Martin, and especially this weekend, though. Whoever is champion, both drivers have put in a champion performance all season long.
Without doubt. If you look back, there's all those little tormenting moments, aren't there? Your Max got wiped out and you went Valtteri Bottas was playing billiards in Hungary and the tire in Baku, and Lewis, went up in Baku then and lost some points, and just all those little twists and turns that we
Aduh Tuhan.
would have made the difference. But you win a championship over a season, not over a race, as Leclerc gets out of the way and lets Max Verstappen through. But at the end of the day, Mercedes and Hamilton came on so strongly at the end of the season, as they have done
Mungkin nggak bakal kayak 2008 tikungan terakhir.
Mudah-mudahan toh, please.
Ya, last stop sih itu.
Ayolah, kalau kayak gitu kita teriak-teriak anjing sih, bodo amat.
So more Mercedes in the
Kita
moment.
sorak-sorak.
Verstappen, when he goes to wherever he goes to lie down and relax at the end of the season, will he think back to
Apa yang mekaniknya McQueen bilang pas dia
given
stop?
up the fight that day to win the overall battle? I'd be world champion now.
You need to
Will that
change
not interest
tire. You fool. Kita mudah-mudahan ada kalimat itu di sini.
rejoined on that when I asked him that in Brazil.
Hamilton bukan Ceko, dia nggak bisa nahan
I
tire
don't know why you did that
manajemen.
thing again, because he had a
Jagoan
33
Ceko lah kalau tire
point
manajemen.
and ended up sadly for Max in hospital that day.
Lando Norris on an up to 8th place after a late pit stop caused by that slow puncture. He's charging through the field. His teammate Daniel Ricciardo moves out of the way of Max Verstappen, then quickly gets back onto the racing line because he wants to try and keep Charles Leclerc at bay. But both Ricciardo and Leclerc out of the points at the moment. Mercedes on course to be constructors' champions for a 8th record-breaking 8th consecutive time, and in a season where the regulations changed ever so slightly, but
Kalau ini gagal sih langsung
at the start of this
lanjutannya
season,
itu
it's once
2022.
again a great
Iya,
recovery
benar-benar
because they felt they would have
Kan regulasinya banyak berubah.
regulation changes.
Well, that feels like a long
Ayo,
time ago, doesn't it? But yes,
Sebenarnya Liberty Media pengen yang menang ini harus
terrible trouble on the
Verstappen.
first race.
Oh, yellow flag. Yes.
Has crashed, and I am
Oke,
think
ini
that
yang
is
kita
in
nanti.
turn 14, where we saw
Oke.
Kimi Raikkonen
Ayo,
Ayo.
yes, makasih lah TV.
in practice. It is a
Yes.
tactical
Good, tapi
yes, that will be
Red,
a
red,
Udah
safety
ini,
car
Red-
because
apa,
Marshall's
Red-
going
safety
to
car,
need
yes.
to recover that Williams and
Oke.
to work on it.
Max
And this
masuk
now
pit, pasang
completely
soft.
changes the context of
Yeah,
this
soft
race.
sih.
Sofi ini.
They can clear the Williams in time, and we can have a couple of laps racing to the checkered flag.
Kalau kata gue biar hemat lap,
That's
kita red
where Max
flagin aja dah.
Verstappen's much fresher tyres will fire up,
Oh my god,
give him the confidence on any kind of restart. It depends how
Iya, kalau
nggak bisa ini parah. Lama ini
buat
ngeluarinnya.
arah ini, apalagi di bagian info.
Apalagi 5 lap nggak
five
dapat
to go.
red flag.
But they'll
Udah red
probably
flag, ayo.
have a lap or two.
FIA mana
Take a
FIA?
vehicle on there and get that out of the way.
Iya,
Coming into the
Yes,
pits,
nice.
Max Verstappen. Hamilton
Nice.
stays out.
Kalau
Verstappen
Hamilton
coming
stay-
into the pits.
tetap di luar,
I would
udah sih.
imagine there's a set of soft tires
Nggak
waiting
mungkin.
for him
Nggak
to go
mungkin.
on to that
Kita
Red Bull car. Yes, it
safety-nya
is.
mana safety? Oh,
So if there is a restart,
ada yang marah-marah.
but now has
Be fun.
tyres. Lewis
Yes,
has
gonna
heavily
be
used
fun.
compact tyres. He will.
Yes.
They will let any lap runners through on the safety car restart,
Menarik ini.
and he will presumably end up. But they had nothing to lose. Once again,
Wah, tapi
Red Bull
kejauhan.
had nothing to lose there.
They have nothing to lose. Hamilton is a long way clear as Perez also pits, as we can see. There's quite a few
Ayo,
coming into the
sport
pits.
jantung lah.
Hamilton's a long way clear on the track, but I rather get the feeling by the time he comes around to the main straight, he's not going to be able to pit and stay ahead of Max Verstappen. That chance wasn't there or has gone by for Mercedes.
Gak bisa. Lu harus masuk pit buat cover.
And the Aston Martin there.
But he won't be on the
Yeah.
restart.
Gak bisa. Ini gimana sih? Red flag aja udah.
On lap 54 and 58 here, then Leclerc
Mana mungkin
taken
3 lap
away.
kelar itu kayak gini udah red flag.
Obviously gone off because the
Iya.
brakes, I'm sure, were getting very,
Tapi
very
kalau red
hot.
flag
But they've
pit
also
stop Max
got to let the
percuma.
lapped cars unlap themselves. Just to the back of my mind, I wonder if we're going to get any racing laps in this race. Wait and see. This is what
Tunggu,
happened.
gue mau nanya. Ingat gak pas masa-masa kita main NASCAR toh?
Oh,
Mick
Session
Schumacher
overtime mungkin nggak di sini nambah lap?
crashed on it.
Enggak mungkin.
Oh my god.
Earlier on, I think.
Nggak tahu juga sih. Kayaknya sih nggak mungkin.
Wow, benar-benar kita udah hopeless tiba-tiba. Wow. Thank
Went off the track, would have picked
kontak
up
sama Mick. Dia berjuang ternyata buat bertahan rekor bapaknya.
Rear just let's go.
Probably dirty tyres from
Oh.
behind there. Will we get any more racing laps or not? Jeopardy at the end of this Grand Prix. The end of this was
Red flag lah.
any more
Nah.
racing laps. If there are,
Kemungkinan terburuk bakal kayak itu Belgia
has got
finish under safety car.
Oh my god, not that shit.
Will they let the lap runners through?
Masa atau enggak bisa aja kayak baku 2 lap selesai.
Norris,
makanya.
Alonso, Ocon, Leclerc, and Vettel.
Yes, but if they do that, it extends the safety car period.
But that's what they always do. Take the lap runners out of the way so they're not
Hamilton.
interfering in play.
What's the situation behind? So,
Yes,
situation is
udah dekat.
Verstappen has pitted. He had 3 pit stops. We would have lost track position to him. 4 laps remaining when you cross the line. So this field has to bunch, and then they have to send lap cars through. So it may not restart.
Ya, nggak restart.
He will be once they've sorted out all the order. This is going to take a while to sort out.
Might be one
Ini trafficnya kebanyakan.
Copy loose. We
Iya.
would have lost track
Aduh.
position if we had pitted.
Siapa aja sih?
That was the big
Alplan,
key here.
ada
Mercedes for
McLaren
the
di
second
situ.
time keeping Lewis Hamilton out. Whilst Max Verstappen pitted, Red Bull had nothing to lose. Hamilton
1,
could
2,
potentially losing
3,
track position.
4.
And in this case, if we don't go racing again because you can't overtake under the safety car, he would have lost the World Championship.
Is there a vehicle pulling the Williams out of the way or not yet?
Gila.
Can't see it at the moment. Ted, down to you.
Have a load of other people pitting: Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, who've had Lance Stroll as well into the pits. I'll give you those orders as they shake out. But yeah, it was just bad luck. I mean, you saw Mercedes mechanics just hanging around outside the pits looking at whether they had the order to come in. But Hamilton was so close to the pit entrance that it does seem that the engineer's right there. Whatever they would have done, they would have
Ini
lost
mah
track
di red
position.
flag bro kalau udah ngeluarin keren.
Iya.
Gimana sih? Masuk.
Safety car's not going full gas down the straight. Copy Lewis, understood.
His tyres are cooling. He needs more pace, more heat into
Mau
those
masih
tyres.
gimana ini? Katanya lu safety director, ini nggak safety. Meskipun udah dikasih safety car enggak. Harusnya di red flag dong. Gimana sih?
Safety car there.
Iya, udah tepat banget.
But
Enggak.
will they?
Tadi aja bilangnya safety. Sekarang kayak begini masa nggak dikasih red flag?
Absolutely mandatory, but that's normally on a wet day that they don't. And if so, how long will they wait for those lap cars to get out of the way? If they wait for them to catch the pack up, which they don't have to do, then I don't think we'll get a racing lap. If they let them through, we could get one
Terus tunggu
racing.
anjing.
3 laps to go. Nicholas Latifi is seemingly okay after
Berarti
that
Williams
attack
bukannya
with the Perez
menguntungkan
around
malah merugikan.
90
Setuju?
miles an hour. But
Iya,
he would have
bisa
taken a
dibilang.
whack. It's good to see.
Siapa
that
masuk
he's
pit?
okay.
Perez.
Sergio
Kenapa dia
Perez
masuk pit?
coming into the pits again. To Max.
Hah?
I think they're retiring the car here.
Huh?
Perez
Kenapa?
into the pits for the 4th time. I didn't understand why, but I think they are retiring the car. And yes, they're not
Mungkin
going to be
mungkin
working
nggak
on it.
biar
That is the end.
biar
Sergio
Verstappen agak
Perez's
maju.
Abu Dhabi Grand
Wow,
Prix.
itu big bang.
We need to retire the car. Retire the car. Box.
And for the
Really? Yeah, box.
and lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake.
Not mandatory in the regulations, which
Race
leaves
control.
us with a lot of work to do then.
So Mercedes will be constructors champions at the end of this race as it stands at the moment, assuming that Hamilton and Bottas finish this race. The Drivers' Championship, though, is very much up for grabs. The lapped cars won't be allowed to overtake, which means that there are plenty of cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen for Verstappen to fight his way through. Norris, Alonso, and also Ocon and Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel.
None of which are for position, of course.
No.
They're obliged to
Apaan
get
sih
out of
ini?
the way, but Lewis will be long down the road.
Oh, lama banget safety car-nya.
Iya.
Control have made here by giving the best possible chance for racing to the finish rather than finishing behind the safety car. They've decided the lap cars will stay where they are.
Verstappen.
Cancel that. Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake.
Yeah, of course. Typical decision.
It's classic.
I'm not surprised.
Well, I'll try and look at this objectively. We should get one lap of racing here. If we allowed the lap cars to overtake, we'd have no laps of racing to the checkered flag. So what do Red Bull want? And Max Verstappen and
Itu Hamilton kedekatan ya.
want the
Cuma
chance.
bilang, cuma ngomong aja.
Car with no overtaking, because I think that is the decision that has come from race control. And personally, this is the decision that gives them the best chance if they want it.
Yeah, I mean, the
Wih, udah lap
regulation
57 kok belum masuk juga ini.
says
Wow.
they may allow the lap
Oh
cars.
my
to
God.
It's pointed out,
Bahan
but
meme kita banyak ini.
there'd be no racing laps if they let the lap cars through, because I think the safety car will come in at the end of this lap, and there will be one racing lap.
Unbelievable.
I would imagine.
Michael Masi mana Michael Masi? Apa
Christian and
nih?
Michael. Go ahead, Christian. Yeah, why aren't we getting these lap cars out of the way?
Just give me, because Christian, just give me a second. Okay, my main big one is to get this incident clear.
You only need one racing lap.
Well, I assume Christian's talking about then, getting the lap cars out of the way, not clearing the incident away.
Yeah, I mean, all of the cars at max will get blue flags to get out of the way, but they're all in a reasonable fight themselves, aren't they?
Well, so here we go. Normally, you'd see the race leader backing up the pack a little bit when the safety car goes. I would imagine on this occasion, if we do get a lap, Martin,
Wah,
Hamilton will want to
yang
be disappearing
senior
off the
dong.
distance as fast
Iya.
as he
Dapat
can.
itu most overtakes.
Anyway,
Mereka udah nggak peduli. Mereka bikin acaranya sendiri, bikin challenge masing-masing.
Is there any more debris to clear up? But we're halfway round already.
Race control, and they'll
Race
say
control.
lapped cars to overtake the safety car. So Norris and Alonso and Ocon and Leclerc.
Okay, boys.
And it's ending. Wow.
Yes.
So there's confusion, but the
Kita lihat
safety
ada
car
yang ngamuk,
is coming in
Bung.
at the end of this lap. So those back markers allowed to overtake the safety car, and that has now left Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Ini ngapain pelan banget?
Ada Toto ngamuk soalnya.
It's left Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen side by side. Hamilton will be ahead. Verstappen is absolutely desperate to get on with this on that soft compound
Yeah.
tyre. We're going to have one lap of racing to decide the
Nice. Nice, yeah.
championship.
Okay, well,
2021. Hamilton
the 18.
has the advantage. Verstappen has the faster, fresher tyres. And we have
Let's go.
got 3.2 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag as the crowd roar the drivers on
Bro,
to
Max,
the
Max.
final lap of this
Aduh.
race. And Verstappen
DRS,
sends out the
DRS,
anthem. Is it gonna
DRS
be
bisa.
a first world championship
bisa.
for Verstappen?
Bisa.
Is it
Verstappen
gonna
yang
be an
dapat.
eighth world championship for Lewis Hamilton? Where can Verstappen
Oh my God.
try and get past
Oh my
Hamilton?
God.
First overtaking
Oh my God,
zone
oh my God,
is
oh my God.
Norway. Is it under the turn five? Is
Ayo,
Verstappen
ambil dalam kiri. Ambil dalam
Yes.
kiri. Dalam kiri. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
takes the lead in the race. Verstappen
Yes.
now snatches the
Nggak tahu,
championship trophy.
Hamilton dapat DRS nggak nih?
Iya, ada DRS sih.
No DRS for
Oh,
Taylor.
belum.
Oh iya,
Lewis
kan habis
Hamilton
di-restart.
get the rear wing open.
Iya.
Now he's gonna go down
Ayo,
Nggak,
the
ayo, ayo, ayo,
yes,
ayo.
udah.
Yes, udah. Sayonara.
He's gone a little bit
Ayo,
wide.
Supermax.
This race that started with controversy and
Yes.
ended with controversy.
No, Maggie, that was so not right.
Here comes Lewis Hamilton though, down the back straight.
Yes.
He's got a
Nggak, nggak.
century. He almost touches Verstappen. They almost
Yes. Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Of all the controversy, of all the magic.
Udah, Max juara dulu.
Max juara dunia, Max juara dunia.
Yes.
Yes. Tunggu, belum pasti, belum pasti.
It looks like it's going to go
Yeah,
the way
yeah, yeah.
of Max
Yeah.
Verstappen. Mercedes not happy. Red Bull will be delighted.
Wow.
They have shared a brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one.
Yes.
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 Verstappen,
Yes.
for the first time ever,
Yes.
in
Yes.
Lewis Hamilton
Yes.
finishes in second place
Aduh.
after leading for so
Gue gak
long.
percaya ini.
Gila.
These last 4
Yes.
Gila.
laps
Gila,
are
gila,
going to
gila.
be talked
Unbelievable.
about, and this
Fucking
might not be the
unbelievable.
end of the matter because Mercedes are furious as much as the Dutch
Gila.
fans
Gila.
think
Toto
it's
ngamuk.
fabulous.
Lihat Toto ngamuk.
Aduh. Kita lihat Toto ngamuk.
Oh my god!
Oh my god. Gila, 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 gila.
Aduh, seru
You
gitu.
couldn't make it
Gila,
up.
gila,
There's
gila,
been
gila.
so much
Lu
acrimony
dulu.
going forward now about that procedure at the end. Red Bull played every card they could because they hadn't got enough speed, they hadn't got track position. They
Padan,
played it
Paris.
really smart. Mercedes played it cautious out front,
lihat.
but to release
Mukanya
the
Toto
lap
udah
car
gak enak.
and end the
Mukanya
second
Toto udah gak enak.
Yang bikin meme.
racing
Iya.
lap. Wow, how quickly did that turn around? What was Christian Horner saying to us? The
Ah.
racing gods.
Setelah 2013 terakhir Red Bull juara dunia.
Hamiltonnya lanjut terus ya sampai di
Christian
podium
Horner.
atau donat
The
oke.
miracle arrived. Nicholas Latifi.
Tapi Google meet-nya gue keluar ya, mau makan gue.
Enggak mau lanjut aja lu.
Hah?
Enggak mau lanjut aja lu. Nanggung nih tinggal dikit lagi.
Ya udah deh.
Took the lead
Ayo
and
denger
Aduh.
lagi Verstappen.
Verstappen, you are the world champion.
Yes.
The world champion.
Mate, you absolutely deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. You've had no luck. Not the rub of the grip. Recharge on, please. Recharge on.
We are so proud of you.
Prediksi siapa yang bikin donat?
Thank you so much.
Nggak tahu juga.
Like a champion all year. You deserve that. We needed a bit of luck. You got it. You made it happen.
Kalau mencet gue langsung rame.
We love you.
Hah?
We
Kalau
absolutely
mencet gue di YouTube langsung rame.
Think, bit of luck. Lifetime supply of luck. Might just have come Red Bull and Max Verstappen's way. Ted Kravitz down in the pit lane.
Gila,
Well,
gila,
emotion
gila.
after emotion after
It's
emotion.
pandemonium. Christian Horner is crying his eyes out. Jos Verstappen is
Gue
already
ngerinya
wearing
si Toto berisik minta Verstappen didiskualifikasi atau apalah.
the Mercedes garage. They are shell-shocked. Toto Wolff has just dropped his head.
Yes.
Can't believe it.
Yes. Pembalasan Saudi GP Tok.
They're all asking each other
Iya,
what is going
udah.
on. They're shaking their heads. They are in disbelief.
It's unbelievable, guys.
Enggak ada yang
Fastest
bikin
lap, fastest lap sama Max lagi kan?
sama Max lagi. Aman.
Oke, good.
They're in disbelief that Mercedes Horner has gone up
Enggak
to
ada
the
yang bikin
Mercedes.
donat ya?
Nggak ada.
Wah.
Anyone he can find. He's
Gila.
getting a handshake, but it's not very
Makasih
warm.
banget yang udah nonton nih dari tadi sampai sekarang. Makasih banget gara-gara kalian. Watch time gue bertambah ini. Kita sama-sama jadi saksi sejarah hari ini.
Where is it? It's all going off. That is a release of emotion, and a release of pressure. They can't believe. Is it luck? Is it
Wow,
judgment?
gila.
Is it the F getting the rub of the green? But they are absolutely kind of shell-shocked at Mercedes, and they are in pieces, in tears of joy at
Woi,
Red Bull Racing.
Cry Milton, Cry Milton.
89, where
Cry Milton.
Cry Milton. Literally. Jabat tangan apa enggak dia? Kata lu.
Nggak tahu. Bisa aja nggak.
Tapi
Lihat intensnya gini.
lihat yang tadi dia udah curang. Harusnya dia ngegas terus tapi Hamilton nahan. Di tikungan ke kanan lihat nggak lu?
Iya.
What has happened in the last 5 minutes, and he might need to sit down for the whole winter. I'm not sure it's
Kita
going to sink
semua fans Red Bull berutang terima kasih sama Nicholas Latifi. Kalau dia nggak kecelakaan, ini nggak akan
Iya.
kejadian.
They ended up on far better tyres, and Max
Menurut lu Schumacher sengaja nggak kontak sama Latifi?
hang on through the rest of no DRS.
Bisa aja, bisa jadi.
For a safety car.
Ini akan jadi topik podcast minggu depan. Hamilton.
I'm just speechless, Lewis. Absolutely speechless.
Oh my god. Tolong
It's speechless.
meme-nya Fernando Alonso diganti pakai mukanya Hamilton ya. Gila.
For a
Nggak,
moment.
yang Charles Leclerc nangis
Oh
tahu.
iya.
Dia diganti Hamilton.
This is Spain without us.
Those touch
Pain.
laps.
Pain.
But in live sports,
Spell
you
Supermax
never
dah.
ever give up hope.
Iya sih.
You never leave before the end. Because
Harusnya di sana
anything
kayak
can
spell
happen
Supermax.
here in Abu Dhabi.
Ini si juara dunianya bukan di sini kan tropinya.
Mercedes are
Bukan
constructors
nanti
champions
podium.
for a record-breaking
Itu mungkin habis ini.
Ya kita
It is
tunggu.
not the double
Aduh,
championship
lemes
they
gue sumpah.
Iya, bodo amat. Jangan lupa ingetin gua buat potong rambut GA, gua bodo amat.
Kapan lagi gitu?
Wasn't he a British and German
Tahun depan
champions in
mungkin kita
Formula
nggak
One
belum
since
tentu loh ada
in
seintens ini.
2007?
Fitri
Iya.
gua mau ngomong.
German champion then.
Fitri kayaknya botas nggak tahu juga.
Ada orang-orang Ferrari di sini.
Oh Fitri itu Sains.
Sains. Red Bull Junior Academy.
Tsunoda fourth, so fourth and fifth for AlphaTauri. Wow.
Ayo screenshot.
Has pitted,
Man.
retired from the race. Sainz said, "Thank you. I'll have a podium." Down to you, Ted.
Just asking around. I mean, the feeling at Mercedes seems to be, well, hang on. There seems to be an abuse of the rules here. The rules have not been followed. Why were only 5 cars allowed to unlap themselves and then the race
Oh,
restarted?
Mercedes sudah mulai protes anjir.
Mercedes think, well, hang on. The process was not followed here. It was not followed properly the way it always has been under safety cars, with that cars being allowed to unlap themselves. Only 5 were, not the rest of them. And then the race was
Ya udah
restarted.
toh karena kita udah mau selesai ada closing statement mungkin.
Bentar.
Kalau lu mau lanjut juga nggak apa-apa.
Lanjut aja lanjut. Bentar.
Sebentar.
Ini
Soalnya gue nggak ngeliat pedok talksnya Toto Wolff lagi protes.
iya.
Nah, kita tahu dia brengsek. Nekutin fakta dan bla bla bla. Oke, kita lihat di grup.
That cars weren't unlapping themselves, and then a few moments later they were. Toto Wolff is absolutely furious and is now walking out of the garage, and nobody, I think, wants to say a word to the Mercedes team principal. We'll be getting reaction from Mercedes.
Oh my god.
Oh, we will be. I'm sure they will have a lot to
Breaking
say.
news.
Apa?
Oh ya, Max Verstappen wins 2021 F1 World Championship. Berarti udah resmi, nggak bisa diubah-ubah.
Emang
Takutnya Toto Wolff. Kita kan nggak tahu kemampuannya dia bagaimana.
Max Verstappen is the 2021 World
Lu
Championship
lihat orang ini nggak? Yang bikin tato
Apa?
Smiles for him.
Kenapa?
Orang itu selamat, dia udah nato. Max
Oh.
Verstappen F1 Champion 2021.
It's happened for him, but honestly,
Oh my
it
god.
had to happen in circumstances like this, Martin, because anything else wouldn't have been befitting of the season that we just
Tapi nggak
had.
ada yang bikin donat, gue kecewa.
Iya.
Udah
Tapi ya great season lah.
closingnya.
Iya. Closingnya worth it banget.
Fucking brilliant. Genius. Hamilton gak bakal mau keluar.
Bisa-bisa ngambil piala itu Hamilton.
Baper. Jangan baper. Di Jeddah Verstappen tetap ambil piala loh.
Ya tapi langsung kabur.
Tetap aja ngambil. Jadi ada 2 Red Bull, secara gak langsung 2 Red Bull driver di podium. Setuju?
Iya, gila.
Gila. Anyway, gue udah ngasih ini ya, poster buat posting di Instagram. Max Verstappen
Iya.
juara.
Jensen Button is down in park Ferme as Lewis Hamilton comes through Max Verstappen.
Langsung
So
lari.
well done. At the end of the season, let's hear from the new champion.
Ayo kita dengerin.
Kita lihat, kita dengerin.
It's unbelievable. I mean, throughout the whole race, I kept fighting, and then of course that opportunity in the last lap. It's incredible. I'm still having a crap, but it's insane. It's insane. I mean, I don't know what to say.
View gue tembus
Here
200.
of my team, and of course Honda as well. They deserve it. I love them so much, and I really enjoy working with them already since 2016. But this year has been incredible.
Saran gue, channel lu yang F1 mulai musim depan aktifin dah.
You might need a miracle
Kita
to win
carry
this
di situ.
championship. You got your
Iya.
miracle.
Yes, finally a bit of luck for me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Insane. I also want to say a big thank you to Checo. I mean, he was driving his heart out as well today.
Tapi menurut lu
It was great
Checo
teamwork.
sengaja ditumbalin tadi ya?
You've given us
Menurut gue sih kayaknya sengaja biar Max agak maju.
Iya. Tapi kalau misalnya tadi di maju, kalau misalnya keputusan yang 3 mobil itu suruh overtake, gue rasa bisa.
Iya.
Gue rasa Ceko nggak perlu ditumbalin. Wow, musim depan derby banget.
Ya, kita tunggu musim depan.
Iya.
Live-nya udah lu end.
Belum, masih terus,
Oh,
masih
masih.
gua terusin aja nyampe akhir ya. Pit stop boys, sebaiknya lu bikin lagu yang lebih bagus lagi. At least kita lihat ada Ferrari podium ya.
Iya.
Buat closing.
Lewis Hamilton for
This is
7th,
enough
one
to make a
titles.
grown
And
man
8th,
cry.
given a moment, Carlos Sainz is next to speak to Jensen.
Lah, Hamilton nggak diituin. Nggak diwawancara.
Dia lagi crying.
Oh.
Cry Milton. Nggak tahu deh dari 200 orang ini ada yang nyumbang nggak ke sosial bus gua. Siapa tahu kan ada 10.000 juga berarti. Wow, 2 jam termenarik dalam hidup gua.
Already last year, great. The car felt really good, and we took a strong sting on the heart. We did safety car at the end, and nerves were high.
Berapa emang?
Oh, iya.
Kan setiap kali
Lupa gue.
setiap kali Sainz di podium pasti Leclerc nggak podium.
Iya.
Iya, itu udah kayak kutukannya. Sayang Ferrari nggak dapet win musim ini ya.
Iya, sayang banget sih.
Oh, is that Lewis Hamilton crying?
Iya kayaknya.
Mama gugu Hamilton. Next year Carlos Sainz ya, kita tunggu aja. Nggak apa-apa, yang penting siapapun yang menang selain Hamilton. Oh ini Hamilton. Ayo.
Speaking with his father, Anthony Hamilton, talking to Jensen.
Tetap karena kita main, kita kasih applause toh.
Ya. Applause.
Great title fight.
Applause.
Whether you're a Max fan, whether you're a Lewis fan, it's been one of those seasons that's gone down to the wire, to the last lap of the race.
Wow,
It didn't go your way, but you must be proud of what you've done this year.
Personally, a big congratulations to Max and to his team. I think we did an amazing job.
Kalau dari statementnya Hamilton gue lihat mereka nggak bakalan ngedebat bahwa kalau misalnya di debat kan nggak seru.
And I'm so proud of them, so grateful to be a part of the journey with them. And we gave it everything. This last part of the season, we gave it absolutely everything, and we never gave up. And that's the most important.
Masalahnya tahun depan
Obviously started a little bit on the back foot at the start of the year, but
bukan Honda
as you
lagi
said,
kan.
you guys.
Masih Honda, tapi ya masih enggak, Red Bull masih pakai mesin Honda sampai 2025.
Oh, enggak, gue ngerinya ini. Maksudnya ini mereka udah menang pakai mesin Honda. Kalau misalnya tahun depan mereka kan isunya mau bikin mesin sendiri tuh. Kalau misalnya
enggak, mereka tetap pakai mesin Honda. Mesin Honda gimana ya bilangnya? Honda tetap keluar, tapi mesinnya dipegang sama Red Bull.
Gue rasa Alonso di sini Alonso sedikit kesel.
Kenapa?
Kenapa enggak Honda sebagus ini dari 2015?
Pas pahitnya di pas itu McLaren.
Bener-bener 2015 Honda shootbox. 6 tahun kemudian Honda terus JDM Power jangan dilarang.
Kalau katanya Alonso GP2 engine.
Besok kita bisa ngeliat harga Honda kena goreng.
Iya.
Acura kena goreng. Mungkin harga jualnya Mercy jatuh.
Mungkin
Harga diri mana bro? Mesin Eropa bisa kalah sama mesinan buatan Jepang.
some of the cars to overtake, and it's possible.
Mesin Jepang yang pernah juara dunia so far baru Honda doang loh. Pas McLaren tahun 90-an sama sekarang.
Ya, Honda. Ayo kita lihat terakhir.
Michael Massey, as the race director, wouldn't have want marshals on the track whilst people were overtaking themselves. But this Martin, the last lap, the miles of racing we've had this season, the 3.2 miles.
Kalau sampai ganti ban, gue nggak tahu bakal jadi apa ini last lap.
Expecting Max to go quite so early with that, if I'm honest. Probably left him exposed then down the next two straights. And they put it all together. Regulation 39.2.
Toto udah emosi itu.
Karma bro, karma.
Considers it safe to do so. The message lap cars may now overtake. And he didn't consider it safe to do so, we're told, because marshals they were tearing the car away. It happened so quickly like that. What a turnaround. What a turnaround for the opportunity on that last flying lap.
Races won and lost with last lap passes. It's happened, of course.
Nonton ini gue masih kelas 11, sekarang udah kelas 12. Lu musim 2021 lu kelas berapa ya, Tok?
Kelas 9.
Sekarang udah kelas 10.
Last time we had a race, won with the last lap pass. Lewis Hamilton getting past Nico Rosberg on the last lap of the Austrian Grand Prix in 2016. Short saw Toto Wolff shouting no, Michael, no, and Michael Massey, the race director, fixed one headset last week when emotions ran high in Jeddah. They might have had to have done another one tonight at Mercedes. Such was the fury and the dismay from the Mercedes team principal.
Hamilton bahkan nggak mau ke grid loh
we all want to see, Martin, after a season like this. The handshake, the embrace, and the congratulations from one champion to another, from one competitor to another, one rival to another.
Aduh.
Go ahead, Toto. You need to reinstate the lap before. That's not right. Toto? Yes. It's called a motor race, okay? Sorry? We went to car racing.
Toto masih nggak terima. It's motor racing.
Every chance to finish this race as a race, not behind the safety car.
Full respect there to Lewis and his dad Anthony. Straight to the Verstappen camp.
Gila. Oh, ada Albono.
Congratulations, Jerry Horner there. You might know formerly as Jerry Halliwell, of course.
Wow.
Adrian Nui mana?
Apa?
Adrian Nui.
There it is.
Mekaniknya Red Bull.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen, world champion.
Yeah, I wonder if that's been rubbed out. 10 laps to go. It wasn't looking like that, was it?
It was a different story. 10 laps to go. This man wasn't
Fitri, nggak apa-apa.
Nggak apa-apa.
Ferrari for
Congrats buat Tifosi. Akhirnya ada yang podium.
Lewis Hamilton stepped on to a
Ayo
podium.
podcast selanjutnya telepon temen lo yang fans Mercedes kita hina-hina.
But in the last lap, all that
Rumah lu nanti dibeli.
Max Verstappen, who went on maximum attack, was given the chance, the miracle that Christian Horner was asking for 10 laps from the end, and he took the opportunity.
Tapi kalau tadi red flag kira-kira bakal endingnya gini nggak?
Pretty much let everything.
Bisa aja.
Didn't fall for it.
Kalau red flag terus di restart.
Didn't want to risk losing track position, and in the
Bisa
end,
request gak sih lagu endingnya jangan yang biasa, tapi Max Super Max.
Nah itu khusus Belanda.
Iya, orang ini kalau final race-nya di Belanda lebih lucu. Lanjut bang. Agak tragis kalau misalnya kita dengar lagu kebangsaan ini tahun 1945 ke bawah ya.
Hah. Nggak bayangin finalnya apa, pokoknya iya terus Max yang menang. Wah
lagi gak usah final. Ada race di Mandalika yang menang Max pasti ricuh.
Iya.
Itu banget gila. Keput. Tadi lu gue WA kenapa nggak balas sih dari
baru bangun gue.
Oh pantesan. Kalau gue panik gitu kan ini jadi nggak. Soalnya
sorry.
Nggak apa-apa gue yang sorry bangunin lu.
Nggak gue emang udah bangun. Baru setengah 8 gue baru bangun.
Gila. Terus tapi gue ntar malam. Apalagi
iya.
Soalnya kalau gue pikir kalau gue streaming sendiri nggak seru. Kalau gue ninggalin lu juga nggak enak. Ya gimana? Jadi gue berusaha bangunin lu. Oh, yang di atas podium Horner.
Christian Horner happy banget kelihatannya.
Iya.
Nah, ini orang Honda nih.
Iya, orang Honda. Ingat di Cota dia bilang kalau misalnya mereka juara pada dapat NSX Acura. Hati-hati.
Mungkin itu ada motivasinya.
Motivasinya. Kena goreng itu mobil nanti. Mungkin nggak masuk Indonesia NSX Acura.
Udah ada beberapa yang tapi atas nama Honda bukan pakai nama Acura.
Udah.
Acura khusus buat pasar Amerika.
Penantian panjang setelah India 2013 ya?
Iya. Enggak, Abu Dhabi 2013.
Ceko, makasih lagi buat Ceko buat
Iya,
dia.
Ceko, aduh.
Fight back-nya ngeri.
Iya.
From Red Bull and for Max Verstappen, the most important win of his Formula One career. He picks up his 10th win of the season. 10 wins in a calendar year to match the 10 for the rest of his career combined. And it's the win that gives him his first World Championship. Lewis Hamilton will pick up the Runners-Up Trophy in a moment after Christian Horner receives the Constructors' Trophy. Mercedes stronghold on the Drivers' Championship turbo hybrid era broken by Red Bull tonight.
Ada melihat Toto pergi
Last
kemana?
car, well, if Hollywood wants to get involved in F1, try topping that script if you're making it up.
Anyway, Drive to Survive bakal heboh musim ini.
Iya. Oh, sama ada satu lagi nih yang kurang. Podiumnya harusnya kayak itu apa? Meksiko yang mobilnya ke atas, tahu? Iya.
Ingat, Verstappen bilang dia nggak mau tampil di Netflix, tapi melihat ini terlalu nggak mungkin.
Netflix pasti cari cara. Nggak bisa aja, tapi yang di itu Hamilton.
Iya, the biggest break heart. Ini lap terakhir diupload ke Netflix, gak usah diedit.
Ya, gua akuin Hamilton, ya itulah.
Nggak ada donat, tetep aja.
And if it was
Hamilton
worthwhile, don't forget the sequels coming our way in 2022 in 98 days' time. Just enough time for Verstappen and Red Bull to celebrate the championship under the lights in Abu Dhabi.
Bentar, tunggu abis foto ya. Atau
Yeah.
kita atau kemenangan aja.
Quite simply extraordinary. Shades of 2008. The other way round on that occasion for Lewis Hamilton, but after 6,600 kilometers of racing, came down to the very end of the drive. One lap. Verstappen on the softs.
Umur berapa sih?
On the used card, and in the end, that was enough to give the Dutchman the advantage he required to take it on the very last breathless lap of this epic season. You have to take the hat off, don't you, to Lewis Hamilton. He was straight over to the Verstappen camp to wish them congratulations. But there was controversy. Of course there was. And we'll have to talk about that. Long into tonight we'll be discussing that. JB is with the newly crowned world
Max,
champion.
you've had a moment to reflect. Not very long. But you've seen Christian, you've seen your dad, your girlfriend, and the whole team. Just tell us what you're feeling right now.
It's just insane. I mean, my goal when I was little was, of course, to become a Formula One driver, and you hope for wins. You hope to be on the podium. You know, when they play the national anthem, you one day hope they play yours, and then when you stand here and then they tell you you're the world champion, it's something incredible and special to my dad. All the things come back to your mind, you know, throughout all the years. For that goal, and then you're here together. Everything comes together in the last lap, and then insane. These people, my whole team, my family, my friends, my best family friends, the people I grew up with, go-karting, the ones who pushed me, you know, to where I am today. They were all here, and most of them were here, and it's just insane. I mean, I lost my voice, but yeah. I don't know. It just sounds amazing. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It's been a season that we are all going to remember for forever. One of the biggest seasons in F1, if not the biggest. for you and Lewis going at the title.
Lu
You know,
ada
you
beli Mercedes Red Bull nggak?
must have a message for them as
Nggak
well.
ada.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to see all this
Kata gua,
great here, but
borong dah, bakal kena goreng.
Iya
throughout
sih.
my whole career, and
Habis
especially
biar
of course
dunia
in
gini.
Formula One,
Iya,
the support is just
terakhir
incredible.
naik.
And I hope I can do this for a very long time with, of course,
Gue
the
mau
support
nyebut
by
satu
great fans.
nama
You say
e-sport
that
yang
we've seen in interviews
bawa
before, you know, you say
nama
the
Red
World
Bull,
Championship.
tapi nggak
Maybe
bisa
it's not so
ngejat, ntar
important.
aja.
You don't look like you have an issue with pressure.
Manggil.
Do you? Is that just
Sore,
something you're trying to hide
pagi
from
lu
your
masuk kan?
I think
Mohon maaf, masuknya kayak kemarin, lu tahu sendiri.
Oh.
on the other hand, it's just another
Gak
race
ada.
where you want to do
Lu absen dulu aja baru nanti gue
the
panggil.
outcome can determine your first or second. But
Guru gue udah tahu gue
yeah,
main
throughout the
gimana.
whole race, you know, I just tried to
Gue
keep on
minta
pushing,
masuk
tried to
kasih
keep
juga
believing in it, even
anjay.
though it didn't look like it. And then sometimes miracles happen.
You've beaten a
Nice
7-time
race.
world champion
Ya
to
udah,
the World
berarti gue
Championship in
potong
2021.
sama
Do you have a
hari Minggu gue
message
ke
about
gereja
Lewis?
berarti.
Lewis is an amazing driver, an amazing competitor. They really made it really hard for us.
Kita
And I think
udahin.
everyone loved to see it. Of course, you
Udah.
know,
Ada
two teams
closing
went against
statement
each
kok.
other. We had some tough times. But I think
Kita
that's
tunggu
all
tahun
part of
depan.
the
Sampai
sport,
jumpa
and
tahun
it's
depan guys,
emotion.
makasih udah nonton.
Everyone wants to win.
Iya.
And